What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on our first live simulcast edition. Going to start out with the Alabama game, the spring game. I want to kind of explain to you, what we're going to do, kind of how it's going to work. Number one, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that. So we're going to, obviously we can't show you guys the actual game as it's being played due to licensing, copyright, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to be watching the game and going through it just like you're watching it. So if you want to mute your TV, I'm going to be talking about, just the football type stuff I see formationally, what looks different, from Alabama and stuff like that. And you're going to have the ability to ask questions, which I'm really excited about. So the way that's going to work, ask your question down below. Now, I will say if you want to donate at any point, our Venmo is up there, our PayPal is up there, and if you do donate, I'll see it. I'll get a beep in here, and your question will be brought to the top. We're going to have super chats and all that stuff available for the fall, because this is something we're going to do for some of the big games on Saturdays during the fall. So it's a great way to interact and really just kind of bring you closer to the game and help win the water cooler. We do have a whiteboard over here as well that you're going to be able to see. I'll walk over here. Got all the equipment ready. I'm going to go ahead and just draw up a normal front because I know we're going to get questions. And listen, you can ask questions. It doesn't have to be pertaining just to the Alabama game or stuff like that. Now, obviously, while the game's being played, while there's timeouts and everything like that, it's something that we're going to continue to do. But, I've talked about whether it's been guests that I've had on, former players, coaches, whatever. We've talked about the importance of the spring game and really what it is. And the team is really built in the spring. Now, the game is kind of whatever. The practices are more important. I always say it's kind of more like the Senior Bowl, I guess you could say, where the practices take precedent over the game. But looking at Alabama, Bryce Young, how's he going to play? Different stuff like that. How's the offense going to look different with Bill O'Brien? It's going to be pretty interesting. And, I'm going to be able to have updates on the computer as well in front of me. But again, just to really appreciate you guys joining us. It's something that, we're doing brand new for the first time. Going to see how it goes. If there's any technical difficulties or anything, we apologize. But again, it's something where we're kind of building the plane in the air, I guess they say. So what I'm looking forward to, defensively, we all know Alabama returned some talent. You look at Will Anderson, you go up and down the board, Armour Davis, guys like that. Just excited to see how it flows defensively. I expect to see a lot of the same stuff from a coverage standpoint that you have been seeing, with Pete Golding and Nick Saban, because Nick Saban is really the czar of that defense, I guess you could say. So again, make sure to you head over to betonline.ag. If you're playing some parlays, whatever, teasers, pleasers, however you get down, head over to betonline.ag today. And go ahead and play some over there. The online casino is always open. But if you're watching, you got Nick Saban repping the salmon suit here. He always dresses up for A-Day. I enjoy seeing it. It's funny. Alabama's the only A-Day that's being played on ESPN. It's amazing how the rest of those work. Trying to get the other A-Day games on SEC Network Plus is like trying to escape from Azkaban. You 1 out of 10. So hopefully we got that and there's no blackouts, knock on wood. We all know how that goes, but it looks like they're about to kick it off. Also, it's very interesting to watch the backup quarterback battles as well. You got Paul Tyson, you got the Milroe kid who apparently had a really good scrimmage the other day, so I'm excited to see them run around because Alabama's got talent. They've got it all over the place. Also, the young guys up front, how does the offensive line look? How do they gel? How do they mesh during a game? From a returning standpoint, or really from a recruiting standpoint, Alabama signed probably the most historical class in the history of planet Earth up front. Got some early enrollees there, and they looked the part. You see Owens at center, a guy taking over for Landon Dickerson. They're expecting a lot out of. And again, you look at the wide receivers position as they kick it off. Special teams in the spring game kind of is what it is. You get field goals. You're going to get a touchback here. And when you see the returner put his arms out like this, that's something, and they're going to go through and work their return. Looked like a little alley return to the right there. Whenever the returner puts his arms out like this, he's not doing it just for fun. That's signaling to the rest of the return team, hey, you don't got to worry about getting in some crazy collision. So, all right, here we go. Alabama's going to come out. Obviously, Bryce Young. And I will challenge you, while you're watching this, don't just watch the ball. Watch other parts that are going on. Watch the line of scrimmage. I know there's only limited camera angles, views, whatever, and that's something we're all going to combat. But let's see what they come out in this first play with Bill O'Brien as the OC, Doug Marrone coaching the offensive line. You see Brian Robinson out there at tailback. Going to get a little 12 personnel here. See how they're overloading the left side. Some people call this tray heavy. Going to get a little play action. Is it going to be a shot on the first play? Got a little over.
You got a little deep cross there. You can see the one-on-one route up top. And again, a lot of times when teams go 3-by-1, whether it's true trips, where you've got 3 extended, nobody's on the line out of 10 personnel, you're trying to solo up that one guy and get that matchup there. So first play, tried a little deep cross off the play action. They're going to go to a little lighter personnel. You see 11 right here. We actually called this duo, this formation duo. Let's see here. You got just normal back in the hips. Looks like a run. Going to get a play action off the split zone. This little RPO right there. There you go. It's a little RPO right there. Seeing you had your man-on-man outside, reading the leverage, decided to pop it. But it looked like a split zone with the RPO built on something that Auburn ran a lot of, and they'd actually slip the tight end you saw coming across the line of scrimmage into the flat, something that former tight end J.J. Pegues used to do a lot of. So here we go. Got a first down. Good little stop and pop by Bryce Young there. They're going to go back to 12 personnel. You're heavy to the boundary here. They're going to bump it. We call that a bounce motion. That's a bounce motion or a return motion. Got your little one-back power. And you can really, when you watch Alabama's interior defensive line, I know they're excited about some of the bodies they got in there. That's where I'm really looking, and how much they change the lineup up front with as many young guys as they have, and again, kind of how they build the pass game off how they're running the ball. We got 2nd and 9. You'd expect to pass here, obviously. They're going to come out in the same formation, 12 personnel. They got 2 tight ends up top. Let's see if you get play action here. Yep. Flat was the second read.
Keep the play going.
Oh, and the backside wheel. Actually, that was just a swing on the backside that got converted at the end, but that's why you can't fall asleep on the backside. That's why quarterbacks that are able to extend the play, that's the play action guy there. He's supposed to carry out the fake, convert it into a wheel. Really just stops. It's a good job by Bryce Young working the whole field. And I know it's weird when the quarterback has a different color jersey. Everybody's not playing. It's kind of weird in between. Is he down? Can I go hit him? The pace of play is interesting. So here we go. They're coming back out in 12 personnel. You've seen a lot of 12 personnel. This is ace, what we called it, an ace formation with a tight end on each side of the ball. It's got a little inside zone there, nothing crazy. Not a great push up front right now from the interior from Alabama's offensive line. You see those young guys outside of, obviously, Owens, who's a returner guy they're excited about at center. And again, you look at all the running backs, they're showing just the absolute wealth of talent. Interested to see if Roydell Williams gets some play today. He was a guy that was a pretty big recruitment, in-state guy. All right, look like you're getting Trey. This is 3-by-1. We call this Trey if he'll get down on the end of the line of scrimmage. And here we go. We get another view. So that's Trey. So it's 3-by-1. That's not trips. Okay, Trey's makes it a tight end. Look at the split by number 1 up top. Look how it's tight. We're always looking for drag there. See, it's a little pick play with the wheel behind, and there's the security blanket. There it is. Now you're in 3rd and manageable, even though you're obviously in the red zone. Some people would call this the green zone once you get inside the 10. Slade Bolden, the guy they're really counting on, guy that scored a touchdown in the national championship game. When you lose guys like, Devontae Smith, they really return, Michi at the end of the day, Jalen Waddle. All right, here we go, 3rd and 3. This is where the money's made. You're probably going to see a pick play, all right, up here to the boundary. All right, this is, wow, they're going 11 personnel again. This is Trey closed. This is Trey closed. The ball's in the middle of the field, so it's not formation in the boundary. Would expect a pick play here up top. Let's see what we get. Oh, we got a bust. There's a bust on the route. Drop ball in the end zone. We're able to convert it. You had a bust up top. Whenever you have 2 receivers, either that or the timing was screwed up. Something went wrong. You can see the receiver pointing to himself there. Good job by Bryce Young extending the play, giving yourself a chance. And really a ball that I think he'll tell you should have caught. Bryce Young didn't put that one in a terrible spot. But again, when you're able to extend plays and you have the ability that some of these guys have, you're never out of the play. I mean, just look at Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Dude made some incredible throws. Here we go. Something Alabama fans, listen, don't take this for granted. Don't take this for granted. Knocked it up through. Not a bad drive there. You get your kind of crazy play, the extended play from Bryce Young on really what was supposed to be a little boot into the flat. You end up hitting the backside wheel, the guy you actually play fake, the running back, who I promise you was the last read there. But not a bad first drive there for Bryce Young. And former, you can see it right now, Texans head coach Bill O'Brien. And Alabama continues to run the rehabilitation clinic for everything in between in the coaching realm. So, defensively looking at Alabama there, up front, thought they did a pretty good job up front. It's a good stop at the end. The one big play kills you. Pretty decent pass rush, but I thought the O-line held up pretty well. And again, look, these guys may be young, but physically they're in a good spot. There's a reason they were rated so highly, and there's a reason why Nick Saban wanted to bring them in. And when you're able to early enroll, we all know how huge that is, not only from a playbook standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, you get used to what it's going to be like, because until you actually see it, you don't know. But we got another kickoff here, basically putting it on the left hash the way the kickoff team looks at it. It's a 5x5. Promise you this is going to be a left-to-left kick. And it is. They're going to work their return here. That's good placement on the kick. It's actually a field return. Our field return, we called it bounce, because you have your base returns, you have your alley return. One of our other base returns that we loved to the kick side was called Thunderbird. Thunderbird right, typically, because you have right-footed kickers with 2 double teams. Typically on an alley return, you got 1 double team and a trap block, which we'll talk about that. But on Thunderbird, you actually had 2 double teams and a trap block, and it leaves you kind of weak to the backside, but you hope the off returner can clean it up. It's all about timing anyway. All right, here we go. Paul Tyson in the game, the backup quarterback. You're getting some more 11 personnel in the hip right here. Little play action off split zone. You're going to get the stop up top. It's good execution. It's good execution on first down. Second time we've seen that play called, similar to what Bryce Young, I believe it was on the second play from the line of scrimmage. But again, they're kind of giving a little graphic on Paul Tyson, great grandson of Bear Bryant, so you knew where he was going. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, shoot it in the chat. We'll answer it. Make sure you guys throw it in there, and we'll be able to do it. Here we go. Wasn't really able to see the snap. Ooh, got a little sack there. And again, it looks like you got your little some people call it outside spacing. Again, the terminology is what it is, but you got 2 flat routes and a hitch. You guys have seen that on Madden all the time. I wouldn't suggest running it. But again, Paul Tyson, sophomore, 6'5", 230. You got to have a backup. We all know Bryce Young's probably going to be the guy. It's going to be interesting to watch kind of how he develops throughout the year and really how much playing time, because we know Alabama's going to blow some people out. But here we go. You're going to get Trey. It's 3x1 here. Yep. That's the difference. You're going to see more of that in Auburn's offense as well. The tight end, that's your security blanket. He's obviously in the route. They're reading the linebackers there. Safeties through the linebackers, and he was able to sit it down. It's a nice throw there by Tyson. And you can see, he's a guy that's pretty poised in the pocket. He's a tall guy. He's able to see. And Tennyson getting some work there. And they're going to have to find somebody. We know Miller Forrestall. They've heard a lot about Latu as well, so interested to see him. All right, Alabama going back to 12 personnel. We saw this formation 2 or 3 times when Bryce Young was operating the offense. I expect a run here. Going to get your bounce. Remember, we called that a bounce motion or return motion. And there's your inside zone. Good job by the safety coming downhill right there. Good movement up front by the 2s. Let's see. There you go, little inside zone. Good cutback right there. Linebacker overplayed it. 65 keeps working. That's J.C. Latham, the true freshman. That guy's a true freshman, yes, but this is your inside zone play. You're going to try and dig him out with the tight end right there. Really good job staying on the inside half. Kind of gave it up at the end. 30 was reaching, but a pretty nice situation right there. It looks like we got a little pistol action, 11 personnel. Play action. They wanted to see the shot. You got the blitz. You got to get rid of it. Got to get rid of it. Good call there defensively. Alabama's going to try and take a shot off the play action. Coach Saban not happy about that protection. Glimmering in his salmon suit in the sun. 3rd and 13. I'd expect screen here. Everybody in the world on defense should be screaming screen. See the formation. Got the back to the boundary. Number 3's on the ball. A lot of trips here. See it. Let's see it. Oh, no screen. That's a dump off. That wasn't a screen. That was a little check down. It's a good job by the defense keeping everything in front. You got a 4th and about 5.5, 6 here. This would, where you're at, this is kind of no man's land. We'll see how they play it. And looks like they're going to punt it away and try and pin them. Not a terrible drive there from Paul Tyson. Didn't get some great protection. Alabama tried to take a shot there off play action. You saw inside zone. What you're seeing is a lot of 11 and 12 personnel. You saw 10 personnel. And again, when I'm talking about personnels, so I say 10 personnel, that's one back, no tight ends. 11 personnel is one back, one tight end. 12 personnel is one back, two tight ends. So again, while we're in special teams too, any questions in the chat, y'all throw them in there. You got your normal little sky punt here. Oh, off the right side of the foot a little bit. A little bit more pressure on that punt. You know, you're really not supposed to pressure the punter here during the A-Day. Scout guy, you know, again, and nothing wrong with going hard, but I'm sure Coach Saban and them won't be in love with somebody, you know, getting close to the punter's foot. So really, I'm going to walk over here to the board, and while we got a commercial, I want to introduce, I'm always on the show talking about quarters. What is quarters? All right, I'm going to draw this verse, just a double set. And I'm a defensive guy, so I'm drawing this backwards for y'all. This is from an offensive point of view. And again, we can call the receivers whatever we want to call them. Let's call him, doesn't matter. Let's just call him T. Let's call him B. All right, I'm going to draw this out of an over front. So if the strength is here, all right, the strength is to the defensive's left. And over front to the strength side is a 5. That's what we call a 5. A 3, a shade, backside 5. You have a Mike here in your A and a 10. The Will and a 30 there in the B. We'll go through, you know, why linebackers, why we call it that, whatever. You're going to have your nickel to the strength. All right, so our strength here, the nickel's going to travel. We have our corner. We have our free safety. Blaine, let me know when we're back on in the game. And again, backside, I'm just going to call this a weak safety. You can call it whatever you want. People call it 30 different things. All right, now we talk about quarters. What is quarters? First off, we got to talk about depth. All right, I used to tell our corners, I want you 1x6 inside leverage of number 1. All right, I'm telling my safety, all right, I want you 2x10, so 2 steps inside, 10 yards over number 2. You're responsible for those 2 vertical. Now the nickel, and I'll draw him a little bit wider, is doing what we call apexing. All right, that's where you're splitting the end man on the line of scrimmage and the receiver that's flex. He's apexing, so he's in between. All right, his rule is I am literally going to push to flat. So I basically have a hole. I'm going to push if 2 disappears. I always want to reroute. I talk about rerouting all the time. That's knocking the receiver off his path because the nickel in quarters is not responsible for number 2 vertical. The free safety is. All right, and we're going to get to the rest of that coverage. I want to explain it so you guys understand it because I talk about it all the time on the show. But the depth, your 1x6, the corners are, and that's on both sides of number 1. The safeties, 2x10, inside leverage on number 2. And again, this is out of a true double set. You have your Mike and your Will. They're whole players inside. Your Will's going to be able to push to the flat there, kind of similar to what the nickel can do once he reads pass. That's why you see a lot of these RPOs and everything because they're trying to hold those backers to give them more time on the hitches outside. So they're able to get that out. So here we go. The ones are back out here. Alabama looks like they're coming out in 12 personnel again. It looks like ace. See, taking their time. Here we go. Yep, we got an ace set. You can see Coach Saban walking behind right there. Let's see if we get a play action shot. Going to get a little zone. And again, didn't see anybody pull. All right, so no gap scheme. That was zone. You've seen a little inside zone, mid zone, whatever you want to call it. Had a different personnels. And Alabama's been pretty base so far. They've been pretty base. Nice, you expect that from a team like Alabama that the guys the guys that they return are pretty mature and understand the offense, and you just want to be able to evaluate some of the new spots, and base stuff gives you that chance. All right, here we go again. All right, you're going to get another zone. I'm going to have to see it again. That camera angle is kind of screwed up. And you're seeing a tight end really outside of third and passing downs. You've done nothing. You've seen nothing but tight end personnel. So while there are some changes, some subtle changes, you can see a little bit the difference between Bill O'Brien and Steve Sarkisian. You know they're going to stay in some of those heavier personnels. And here we go again. We're in 12 once again. Both your tight ends down in the bottom. All right, one on the ball, one off the ball. The slot up top is off the ball. Got your play actions. Pretty good protection. Good throw there by Bryce Young. Really good throw there by Bryce Young. Put it on the opposite shoulder. And you can see he wasn't throwing off the perfect plateau either, the perfect platform. He was able to put that one right on the outside shoulder while moving. Good job staying in the pocket. Not bad protection there. Want to be a little more inside out from your right tackle, but again, not bad protection.
All right, looking like we're back to 11 personnel. Maybe 12. Yeah, that maybe a tight end flexed out there at the bottom. You'll see that sometimes. Here you go. There's your power. Good job stuffing it up there. Not bad by the interior defensive line, which they really haven't been bad. You know, the one zone that kind of hit cut back, which the zone was built to cut back, the backside linebacker overplayed it. But from an interior D-line standpoint, Alabama's, holding up. We knew they're going to be good on defense. And, again, you got a bunch of newcomers on offense, and it's going to take some time. But this is great tape for the coaches, something you'll be able to use. And here we go, back to 11 personnel in the hip. One back, one tight end. Backs away from the tight end. That's a tendency for a lot of teams. And, again, they've been very, very simple from a route tree standpoint. Ran that a little bit earlier, a little hitch. Good job by the corner, not biting on it. You saw the flow going away. So a lot of times when you run your play action stuff, you want the flow to go away, and actually the guy you're reading where you want the ball to go to be on the opposite side. It obviously takes some pressure out of the passing window, but also if you break a tackle, there's less guys there to chase it down. Here we go. Here's some 10 personnel. Here's your trips. Again, they want the guy on the bottom. It's 3rd and 7. Let's see what Bama's playing here. Let's see if it's two-man. Looks like it is. They ran a little switch up top, and he got space. You're going to get a good little switch up top, and what I mean by that is think about it almost like a rub. All right, looked like Bama was in two-man there. See, he's going to stay with it. Mike got greedy. Nope, there's zone. There's zone there. There is either zone there or those are the worst eyes out of man I've seen because Alabama loves to go two-man on 3rd and passing downs. Surprised they didn't do it there. Guy was able to waddle through that zone. No pun intended. 12 personnel again. Alabama's defensive line's really, really getting after the offensive line, really on both sides. They look like another zone play. We'll have to see it. Hopefully they show it again. I want to see if that was the shade or the 3 tech that got off right there. It's Keelan Robinson. You can see just the wealth of backs that Alabama has trying to see. Not a ton of spots to go there. Got some penetration early, too, which throws off the track, throws off the timing, stuff like that. Alabama operating at a decently fast pace. Got a heavy set here. You got 3-by-1 out of 12 personnel. Back to the flat, little arrow route, and there it is. Again, being able to use the tight end, Auburn hasn't been able to do that. They haven't had that. That's an easy throw and catch to get you back in 3rd and manageable. And again, it is almost a little option route action there off the tight end, reading the leverage. Again, it did look like outs. They ran a little arrow route up top where the back literally runs almost diagonally. That's why they call it an arrow. Runs an arrow to the numbers to the boundary, and you're running a route with number 1 on top of that, trying to space it out and see if you got some leverage there.
Hey, Jake, we got a question from Mr. McLeod here. He said, great breakdown, first of all, J-Boy. Do you think Bama will be as dynamic in the passing game this year as they were in previous years?
No, I mean, you're looking at last year when you have guys like, you got on the list Waddle. You got the Heisman winner Devontae Smith. A lot of it's about personnel, but I think Bryce Young, while he's pretty far along as a passer, asking him to put up the numbers that Mac Jones did last year, and they're 2 different quarterbacks, but he's going to give you something in the run game. There's your slip screen right there. Great job chasing it down there by 42. You see the speed that Alabama has, but back to your question, I expect the passing numbers to go down. I expect the offense from a point standpoint, to go down a little bit. They're going to be able to score. They got great players. But when you replace that much up front as well, I don't think the protection is going to be as good. So while they're going to be really good, it's going to be Bama. They'll have a chance to win the whole thing. Comparing them to last year, that's tough. That's tough. But, all right, here we go. Bama back. We're in 11 personnel. Got the tight end, the boundary there in the hip. Got a stack up top. It's going to go 3-by-1. Actually, this looks like 10. All right, we call that diamond up top. And Bolden. I say he had him beat. He did. It's a tight window. It's not the easiest throw. But a lot of times when you get that stack, you're going to get crazy stuff out of it. And I'm talking about the 2-man stack. Then you get the diamond, as we call it. Some people call it the pyramid out of 3-by-1 when they're clustered. Some people call it cluster. We are cluster checks. And it turns into, even if it's in man, you're going to start switching off guys defensively because you have to. Because it's like a pick route before anything happens. They're trying to create space and throw you off. That's a really good stop there.
And a lot of that was eye candy to set up for the screen to the backside. So, hey, we got our cluster check up top. Everybody watch out. They're going to do something crazy up here. We throw the screen backside to see if you can't steal a first down. But that was a really good job by the defense holding court against the ones right there. You see JB and Cohen, guy came down to Auburn in Alabama from Central Phoenix City, a guy I know Alabama's excited about at the tackle position. Got 45 seconds left in this first quarter. I want to get back over the board and talk about quarters. So we're sitting here. We got our leverage. All right, we understand that the corner is 1x6, inside leverage of number 1, the safety is 2x10, inside leverage number 2, and they're responsible for 1 and 2 verticals. So if we get verticals, they're gone. The corner is taking him, the free safety is taking him. All right, now you want your nickel to beat this guy up a little bit because it's hard asking a guy to cover somebody that's untouched with 10 yards of free space. It's really tough. It's really tough.
So understand they've got those 2 vertical. Now, when we run quarters, we have the ability to switch. We make a switch call. All right, I'll redraw the nickel here. We do have the ability to switch it. All right, we got the nickel, apexing in between. So if we were to get a post with a wheel, the free safety and the corner make a switch call, because you can see this in real time. Switch, switch, switch. All right, because now number 1 has become number 2, and number 2 has become number 1. Who's responsible for who? The corner's responsible for 1. The safety's responsible for 2. So that's when you're able to switch. If this was man, we're not switching that. If this is cover 1, we're not switching that because it changes the leverage. But in quarters, we can switch that. All right? They're still looking at graphics over there. Let's see if we got any time before we're able to get back to the game. All right. Here we go. But so that's one side. Really on the back side, they marry each other on quarters. Oh, here we go. 10 personnel. They're going to take a shot down here to the boundary. He's out of bounds. Not a bad catch. Just let him out of bounds. It's really good coverage. And really what you're telling the DB there, you're reading vertical and have to see the replay again to see the coverage. But you're trying to force him to that sideline. Make that throw harder on that quarterback. Again, that's really good. That's really, really good coverage. He's got to put the ball more in play. But the coverage forced that a lot too because the quarterback's reading that leverage. As the time's winding down here in the first quarter, they're going to get another playoff. We got 11 personnel tied into the hip to the boundary. A little power, and again, getting blown up from the inside. Good job by the back getting a couple. But at the point of attack, the interior defensive line dominated that first quarter. And that's expected with so many new guys there. So in the first quarter, the white is leading the crimson 3-0. Just some things I've seen in the first quarter. Been pretty base, been pretty vanilla from a play calling standpoint. You've seen some power. You've seen some zone, nothing crazy, some split zone. So they're not giving away the whole kitchen sink here. I haven't seen the GT pull, trucks, whatever you want to call it, with the double pulls yet. Defensively, a little more zone than what I thought I would see. Alabama mixing it up. I know the linebacker position is one everybody's looking at, and I think they played pretty well in the box. It's easy to play well in the box when your interior defensive line's blowing up the run game like that. And there's also been some pass rush. But looking at Bryce Young, I mean, he looks fine. He looks poised in the pocket. They're not asking him to do too much right now. I want to see some more vertical balls. That's one thing I know everybody's interested to see. We know he can throw the hitch. He can throw the over. He can throw the slant. Can he throw the ball down the field? That's what you're going to want to see here in the second quarter, half, whatever you want to look at it. So going back over here, I want to kind of talk to, got this question yesterday about smash. What is smash? Smash is basically a hitch by number 1 and a corner by number 2. All right, and the way we play this is we always tell our corner, out of zone, you're able to make a China call. What is a China call? A China call is saying, hey, I've got a hitch here. I'm going to sink back and I'm midpoint, all right, and kind of try and play in between the corner route and the hitch. Because who are they reading when they run smash? When you're running a hitch with a corner, you're reading the corner. You're reading the corner because the corner stays up. I'm going to throw the corner, which is the name of the route. Corner floats. I can throw the hitch and get away with it. So that's a China call from the corner. And there's other times also where you can use China. It's basically the corner communicating to the safety, I'm going to be dropping back. So if we do get a hitch here, he disappears. All right, let's say he runs a vertical and we reroute. What's the nickel's next job? Well, if we're seeing anything in the flat, we have to leverage that. By leverage, that means I can't be too far out in front of it. I can't be too far out behind it. I've read pass. But I can also push to this hitch to get in the window. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if I'm able to reroute, I'm able to push to the hitch, I can help that corner, especially if he sinks back on China. Let's say it's 3rd and 8, and they run smash, and we get a 5-yard hitch here, the corner step back. You need this nickel to come down and make this tackle before you give up a first down, or else they're just going to sit there and run it all day. All right, so that's quarters. To the backside. Now, the Mike, we're hole players, and really the way we work backside is very similar from a leverage standpoint and from an alignment standpoint, and we'll get to that. It's pretty simple. But we're back here to the Bama game. Looks like 11 personnel.
Good throw and catch there. Little in route. Little tight end deceit, as we used to call it. Tight end kind of drawing the eyes away from it. Then you backdoor him there with the in route. Not a bad start to the drive there for Paul Tyson. See, obviously we've seen a lot of gun. Really all gun, unless I'm mistaken. All right, you're going to get 11 personnel again. Would not be surprised to see split zone here. Oh, going to get your play action. Going to hit the tight end here. Little delay. That was a little tight end delay. If you saw, they kind of made it look like for a second it was going to be that one back power. He runs the play action, slips off of that, and they try and clear out that boundary side. So really the tight end's a big read in that. He really is. Coach Saban not happy. Not happy. Defensive end didn't do it. I wonder if they run stunted there, if they stunted in general, and he went the wrong way. Obviously, Coach Saban's not happy about how that transpired. And we've got ace formation again. 12 personnel. We got tight splits. Zone. Inside zone. Ground them and pound them. And getting a little push there from the interior offensive line. It's a good run. So again, Alabama staying very base in the run game. And again, you have your combos up front and inside zone, because on outside zone, you're going 90 degrees. You're taking a 90-degree angle. You're ripping and running. On inside zone, you're taking a 45-degree angle, and you're going to combo some on the interior up to the linebacker. And that is a process you work all the time as an offensive lineman, is comboing and coming off. All right, going to stay in the gun. Let's see if it's pistol or if it's regular. So we're going to get regular. You got your heavy set again, 12 personnel. Long throw. Really not a bad throw there from Paul Tyson. Long throw. Little comeback. Wide. You saw you got kind of some double ends from the big guys up there. We used to play, and I'll draw this out of 11 personnel here in a second. But a long throw. Really not a bad throw at all by Tyson. Hit him right in the hands. It's tough to cover that amount of space, too. I like what the Tyson kid brings. I like he's got a little moxie back there. He's not afraid. You can tell he's not afraid. Here we go. What? Look at the scout guys wearing the beautiful beanies. The beautiful beanies. It's the scout punt. Working. Catching here. Oh, that will get you. Yep, that's the sun. It's been there for a long time. It's 93 million miles away. Used to tell our guys, if something 93 million miles away is causing you to drop the ball, then neither me nor your family can help you. And again, look, I'm going to say this. Anybody that thinks Alabama's about to be able to – what they did last year offensively was historic. It was historic. Asking Bryce Young or any of these new guys to come in and be able to replicate that, not meaning they won't be great on offense or even elite on offense, but asking somebody to be able to come in and do what they did last year is just asking way too much. Oh, here we go. A little 3-by-1 out of 11. Good little dart there. Nice protection. Nice protection. Coach Saban rocking the salmon suit. Got to respect it. You got to respect it. All right, we're going to get 11 personnel again here. Slot's going to be off the ball. Expect a run here. Probably split zone. Oh, there it is. There's the double pull. Oh, a little RPO off the double pull. Now that was an RPO right there. Read and leverage of the nickel. Let's watch that again. Billingsley's going to be a really good player. Dude's got a great frame. Oh, show the replay. Come on, guys. We're trying to win the water cooler over here. Show the replay. All right, going to stay in 11 personnel. All right, this is Trey. It's not trips because you got a tight end attached there, making it 3-by-1. Going to get a little zone. There's a cutback. There's the cutback. The zone was built to cut back. Caught the defense there slipping a little bit. A couple guys guessed up front. So, again, nothing crazy from the run game. You're going to get your little double pull there. Then he pulled it and popped the RPO behind it. Again, a lot of similar formations. Tua's off the ball again. Remember, as we talked about the other day, if Tua's on the ball, we're always giving a smash alert. It's a smash or avert. A little play action, you're in trouble. Wow. It's a bust. It's a bust. He may go. He's gone. Wow. Going to get a bust there. Was either the safety or the outside backer. Good job by Bryce Young keeping the play alive. Wasn't great protection. See a little slide protection. Got beat on the stunt. That's going to be 5. That's you, 5. That's you, buddy. Safety, good job running after the catch. That's Latu, guy that we mentioned earlier. Brought a blitz, looking like it was cover 1 behind it, and 5 just busted. Looks like a little blitz with cover 1 behind it. And if you're running cover 1 and you're not the safety in the sky and you're not covering anybody and you're not blitzing, let me give you a hint. You're wrong. You're wrong. You are 100% wrong. Real quick, I'm going to drop cover 1 over here. I believe that was, if I can find my eraser wherever I put it down, here it is. So, this is the day 1 man coverage. We used to call it green. A lot of coverages are called colors because it makes it easier to remember. Again, we're going to draw it out of 2x2. X, let's go Z, let's go U, let's go Y. This for fun. See, I'm going to go ahead and put them where they're at. So your free safety's in the sky here. All right. Well, it's your weak safety here. So basically, he is in the sky. He is deeper than the deepest. He is deeper than the deepest. There should be no one running a route, okay, that is as deep as him. I'm not going to draw him spinning. A lot of guys will start too high, spin it down late. I'm not worried about disguising coverages for everybody right now. So it's a pretty simple concept. Now, the leverage is what matters. So the interior guys are going to play outside leverage because we want to funnel everything to where? The guy in the sky. All right, now on the outside, we're playing inside leverage. We're locked. We're not worried about funneling anywhere because that's a long way to funnel somebody. Right here, we're inside leverage and locked. You can press if you want, depending on how confident you are in the corner. Now, here's where it gets a little bit different. So we're outside leverage from the nickel. We're outside leverage from the weak safety. So that backside safety comes down, all right, and he's locked. Well, there's no switching on post wheel in cover 1 and in man. There's some stuff that you can do if you've worked on it. We used to call it in the red zone 57, where we can switch and make it easy. All right, and what we would do, we'd really rat the back. So whatever side the back comes on, that's who's responsible for him. All right, so if he comes to the Mike side on a swing, he's responsible for him. He comes to the Will side, he's responsible for him. So really, you're trying to funnel these guys to the man up top. That's what you say our interior guys. Don't get pushed out of your lane. It's about leverage. What happened there, and they ran a heavy set, looked like on the back side. Let me just see. Let's go U and T. Somebody got lost in translation. You saw this was number 5. That was number 5 up top, on top of everything. Somebody busted here. And at the end of the day, everybody's going to be pointing, whatever. The corner's in here, responsible. And at the end of the day, if you're not the guy in the sky, and you're not, because again, you can run anything here. Now, if I want to run a blitz out of this, we can do what we call peel for the back. Okay? Peel for the back. What does that mean? All right, we brought the mic, we brought the Will there blitzing. Peel is where the outside guy, if the back goes into a passing route, he's going to take him. All right, so we can blitz these guys and we can peel with the ends. He goes wide, end, you got to take him. Now it's a risk, yes, same thing here. All right, who's the peel guy? Say the end for the back. Corner's got to take the outside tight end. Weak safety's taking the tight end on the interior. So again, that's cover 1. Pretty simple. It's what it looked like to me. Again, sometimes with these camera angles, it's tough when you can't see the whole field or you're not in the press box, but it's what it kind of looked like, in my opinion. And that's going to add to the old stats if you're Bryce Young. Nice little busted coverage,
add you about 60 yards to that pass total.
And J-Boy, do you think that comes down to just a miscommunication in the secondary?
Yeah. A lot of times, too, as we're seeing a little outside zone here, a lot of times, too, when the play's elongated and some guys are out there and, man, it feels different to them and they'll slip up or they'll look around for 1 second and you're going so fast out there, it looks like the coverage was busted, literally 20 to 25 seconds before that. But no, that's communication. That's getting lost in the traffic a little bit. And when you get heavier personnels, sometimes guys that are used to seeing receivers run around out there, they just lose their mind. So here we go, Braxton Barker in at quarterback. So somebody outside of Paul Tyson. Going to get 11 personnel again. Watch the tight end. He's going deep. It's the Bourbon Bowl. Wow, what a catch. What a catch by Hall. Wow, that's a big time. And again, Alabama's going to have guys that come out of nowhere that are balling at receiver. I'm just telling you. Ball's a little underthrown. It's a great adjustment by the receiver. This is a great catch. And listen, people say it's pass interference. I'm a defensive guy. It don't look like pass interference to me. Ball's underthrown. Alabama, let's see. Probably going to get a run off this. Oh, little play. There it is. There's the RPO. Oh, my goodness. Somebody went in for the kill shot. Man, you got to wrap up. Little RPO. Again, reading the leverage of the nickel. Can you slide it inside on the slant? We've seen that from Auburn. Saw it a bunch last year. It just didn't typically look that good. Alabama hadn't had a ton of success running the ball. That typically opens it up. That was just a good pull there by the quarterback. Braxton Barker coming in, the junior from Birmingham. It's the Bourbon Bowl, man. You can't hold anything back. I got 12 personnel, got the heavies up top. So it's 3-1. Going to get some zone again. Not blocked well on the outside. Good job there by the defense. Being gapped out, gap sound, however you want to put it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just make a prediction. A tight end will catch this touchdown pass that's coming up. The tight end will catch this touchdown pass because they're going to stay in 11 personnel. Oh, I would love a Coke if that'd be cool. Thank you, my friend. Coke. Is it in you? All right. Let's see, looks like we're going to get a pass here. 11 personnel in the hip. Oh, kept it. There's your little double pull. I believe they can still get a first down. Again, about 3rd and 3 here. Now, I was talking about tendencies earlier. When you get into like week 3, 4, or 5, you're able to really draw a tendency off when they go 11 personnel or they go 12 personnel, where the tight end is as opposed to where the back is also will be a big tendency that coaches have to change. Also, real quick, if you have a tendency not to sleep well, hit up sundayscaries.com. Unbelievable CBD company. Use the JBOY promo code. That's JBOY. And you save 25%. They got a 100% money-back guarantee. It's great stuff over there. All right, we got 3rd and 4. Here's where the money's made. When's it coming to the tight end? You got Trey out of 11. And there he is. Oh, it was stick nod. They ran stick nod, and he didn't get open. It was for the tight end. They wanted to spread it, run a little stick nod. You've seen that game a ton of times on Madden. Look at the stick. Stick. Oh, there was the nod. Wasn't able to get it back to him. Quarterback kind of bailed a little early. That's a good play down on the goal line. I'm telling you, that's who you go. That's who you go to, the tight end. I'll be interested here in about 18 minutes to see if if Auburn will throw it to the tight end. It's going to be interesting. They're going for it. 4th and 3. Ace. They've ran it a lot out of Ace. I don't think they're going to run it here. Jump ball. Wow, they are going to run inside zone. Let's see. They wanted to find out. Who was about it. That's a stop. Confidence builder for the defense. And Alabama fans, don't freak out about that play call. They were finding out really who was about it on 4th down. You got to. See Brockermeyer there, the two twins that early enrolled. Big stop there for the defense. But you can see, and we've talked about it a ton on the show, whether it be live, whether it be with guests, how important that the tight end is. Unbelievably important. So now Alabama going to take over. That's just good old-fashioned inside zone, fellas. Good old-fashioned inside zone. Safety was able to creep in there, get the first lick. That's why offensive guys always get mad when safeties are brought down to inside drill. All right. You got 12 personnel. Calls ace off, where the receivers are on the ball and the tight ends are off. You're going to get inside zone again. Really almost mirrored plays. The only difference on the 4th down and 3 play, the tight ends were on the ball out of the ace set. The receivers were off in this one. The tight ends were off and the receivers were on. Got 2nd and long. You know, Nick loves to take shots on downs like this. I would not be surprised if you saw a little shot combination up top here. 12 personnel. They're going to take the easy way out. Oh, that's easy. It's stealing. Stealing. Read the leverage. I mean, it's going to be that easy if you're going to give them that. I mean, you know, it looked like the linebacker's there, blind.
Yeah, when you're talking about leverage.
Yep.
For, you know, especially in the RPO game, what exactly do you mean?
All right, so let's just say we're looking at the nickel, okay? If the nickel, so I'm the quarterback, here we go. I'm reading the nickel. When I'm seeing it, is my number 2 receiver getting inside of the nickel where I can pull it and hit him? Or is the nickel playing his leverage? Is he playing it inside out and stopping me from being able to throw that ball? And what do? I hand it off. Now, they talk about reading through levels, being able to kind of feel what's in front of you. But again, if that nickel stays wide too, okay, or that backer, whoever you're reading, stays wide, he's not in the run game either. So it's really being able to decipher, is the wide receiver in a better position for me to throw the ball? Has the nickel lost his leverage, letting the receiver inside, I can hit him? Or if not, and he still stayed there, I can hand the ball off and let the play happen. It's a great question. A lot of 12 personnel. Uh-oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Didn't like it. That's dangerous. Didn't look like a backwards pass there. If you're going to ride the lightning, man, it must have been locked up. You saw the receiver get forced inside here. We can't see the combination because of the camera angle. That's a forward pass, almost right to the defensive end. Guys got to remember he's not playing on the Crimson team.
And if you want to get Nick Saban upset, there it is.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy way to do it there. All right, 3rd and 9. Tricky place on the field for 3rd and 9. I'm guessing you're going to see a comeback here, probably at the sticks, what we used to call a stick route. All right, you've got Trey off. There it is. Seen it a million times, guys. Seen it a million times. Alabama loves to go. They used to do this with Julio all the time. It's a stick route or a comeback where I'm going to sell the vertical. I'm going to come back. Now, that's a tough throw. That's a really good throw by Bryce Young to the field there. That's a big league throw. He doesn't have an overly elite arm, but he's got enough of an arm to make that throw. That's a big league throw. And again, they love to come back on 3rd and long. Stick route, whatever you want to call it. 11 personnel again. This is deuce, what we used to call this, 2x2. A lot of throwing here. Play action. I'm telling you, they're just killing them with it. Comebacks, hitches. Haven't really seen a back shoulder yet, but they're really working the outside. There's a little NFL flavor for you. Working every blade of grass on the outside. There's 2nd and 2. Now, from a coaching standpoint, you feel good enough about running the ball. You're throwing the ball really well. Got them on their heels. Do you go play action, take a shot here? I think you do, and I think you do it to the bottom. It looks like cover 1. Look at the one high safety. It is cover 1. He was looking there. And that looks like grounding. That's what you don't want to do.
Do you think with Bill O'Brien being the new OC and a lot of talented personnel they lost, that you're just going to see a different pace from the Bama offense?
Not so much as pace. I'm interested to see the run-pass balance. That's what I'm especially, with Saban there, working the referees. That's what I'm interested to see, because if Bill O'Brien does get too pass happy, I don't think Saban's going to sit there and just take it.
Yeah.
All right. 11 personnel. We've seen this formation a ton. There's the power. Show us the replay. We talk about it all the time. A little skip pull, trying to get up for the backer from the backside guard there. Show it again. It's just killing me not having these replays on here. Show it again. That's how you come downhill and hit that damn guard, too. Here we go. It's still in the same personnel. They just moved the tight end off the ball down there in the bottom. And look, he's kind of a guy that can do both. A little chip there on the end. Here comes the deep ball shot. That's great coverage. That's great coverage. Not a bad ball. That is even better coverage. You can see him. You got to win with the hand the whole time. And that's holding. But watch him work the hand. Play's not over. And strike through the elbow. That's what costs him. If you give up with your hands, because again, your back's turned there. He's able to see the ball. That's a great effort there by Baker, but great job with the hand at the end. I always tell my guys, you try and rip that elbow off at the end, and hopefully you get lucky like that. And then the elbow, not only do you hit it, but it hits the ground. That's what knocks the ball out. That was a heck of a competitive play by both guys there. But that's Armour Davis, a guy they're really high on. There's your tunnel screen. It's a great job. It's so hard when you got guys that are this fast, are able to do things in the boundary. Nick Saban telling the offensive line they need to get out and go. They were too slow. I don't think he's talking about the pace. I think he's talking about the offensive lineman getting out, because I know that's what Coach Saban's watching. Now we're in 10 personnel. Trips. Look at the split down below. It's below the numbers. All right, we talk about dividers. Know your divider. Going to get it in, a little dig. Here he goes. This is where he's a problem. And that just guts you. And it just guts you as a defensive coach. You get Bama that's ultra-talented in 3rd and 13. You do everything right, but you don't stay in your pass rush lanes. You don't understand your secondary evolution as a pass rusher. And the guy squeaks for, and I say squeaks, does a good job running for 14 yards. And, they're going to say it's 4th and 1. Bryce Young was getting that first down. I'm going to go and tell you. He was getting that first down.
Do you think during the season you're going to see a good amount of quarterback design run plays?
See, I think, number one, it depends on how good you feel about your backup. But you never want to run your quarterback too much, even when they had Jalen Hurts. You're going to see design stuff, but we didn't see a ton with Mac Jones because that's not who he is. But with Jalen Hurts, we did because they had a capable backup. Not saying that Paul Tyson isn't capable or the Milrow kid or Braxton Barker isn't capable, but if Bryce Young gets hurt, then Alabama's in trouble. So I think you'll see some, but not more than the norm. And we are 9 minutes away from Auburn's A-Day game. We're going to be broadcasting that one, simulcasting it just like we're doing here. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out all our great sponsors, SundayScaries.com, BetOnline.ag, eBay.com/sneakers, and MonsterBass.com as well. So we got a long field goal here, and I'm going to tell y'all, wherever the yard line is at, if you ever want to know how far the field goal is, just add 17 yards. All right, so the ball here is at the 31. Add 17, that's a 48-yard field goal. Good plant, he yanked it. I said good plant. Looks like he might have overplanted, came across there. And if you're going to miss them, the spring game's a great time to miss them. And again, Alabama fans, when it comes down to kicking, I think everybody can agree. It's a little nerve-wracking. So we got about 2 minutes to go here before the half. We're actually going to switch over now to the Auburn A-Day game, getting ready for that. Going to take about a 5 to 6 minute break. Make sure you throw those questions in the chat, and we'll have some fun. Very interested to see Brian Harsin, Mike Bobo, first time out here in the offense, seeing the progression of Bo Nix. So stay with us. We'll be right back with the Auburn spring game breakdown.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this. The A-Day game is going on. I'm going to be watching it with you guys. Turn the volume down on your TV. I'm going to be explaining what's going on. If you have questions, drop them down below. I'm going to answer them. And if you donate to our Venmo or our PayPal, which you can see right here, I will answer your questions first. I can see which one of those drops. We're going to get the Super Chats going on YouTube. This is something we're going to be doing during the fall, too, so get ready. Again, for those people that aren't a huge fan of the announcers and want to listen to kind of different perspective during the game. That's what we're going to be doing. Very interested to see the Brian Harsin offense, the Mike Bobo offense, the differences in kind of the way they go about things. Are they passing to the tight end? Stuff like that as well. So, again, they're showing Cadillac right now. There may be a little more delay on mine than there is on yours. I may be ahead of where you're at. We all know how that goes. Very interested to see as well how long Tank Bigsby plays in this game. If it was me, I may give him 2 carries, and that would be it. But again, just really excited to be able to watch the games again inside of a stadium with people there, even though it's not full capacity, obviously. Going to be very interesting to watch. Special teams during spring practice is all scout stuff. You can see the scout vests that the guys are wearing, which means that the other team, so right now that's the first kickoff return team right now. As we're looking at it, typically you're not going to set up any returns, don't want anybody to get hurt or anything like that. So pretty interested to watch this and how it goes. And again, it's going to be pretty interesting. I do, while we have a second, want to talk about our sponsors. Head to betonline.ag. Also, head to sundayscaries.com. We're getting our monitor fixed right now as Auburn gets ready to take the field for the first time. Some other superlatives that look defensively. How are they packaging things? What coverages are they running? Zone or man? And again, at the end of the day, that's going to tell you a lot of how Derek Mason feels about his personnel. If they're coming out running a lot of man, you're not going to see a lot of blitzing today. I don't believe you don't do that in the spring. I don't want to get anybody banged up too much, but you do want to see how your guys in the back end and the secondary compete when they're put in one-on-one situations, because you can't bracket everybody. You can't double everybody waiting on the screen to get fixed right now. And we'll be able to bring you the live action. I do want to say we're going to do this during the fall as well. All right, here we go. Auburn coming out in 11 personnel. You see the tight end as I'm letting the screen load. Right now I'm getting a loading deal. I really like the power stripe, to be honest with you, on the field. I think it was a good move. Yeah, go ahead and hit that refresh button or something right there. Here we go. We all know how SEC Network Plus is. I'm just amazed we can get the game. Just glad it's not blacked out or anything. All right, here we go. We're in 3rd and long already. Finally, we can see it. We get our motion 2x2. Bo Nix staying in the pocket. He escaped through the pocket. Excuse me, that's not Bo right there. It's a backup quarterback. But again, you see how you stay in the pocket, and that's going to be the question with Auburn's tackles as the clock gets down to 7:30 here. Finally, we're able to get on the screen. But again, it's something at the end of the day on both sides, because you've got to develop depth on the offensive line and make sure you shoot those questions down below now that we're live. Grant Loy there, the backup. And again, outside of Bo Nix, you say Demetrius Davis, the freshman, you're hoping, he comes on and stuff like that. But it's going to be very interesting to see who's the backup there for Auburn and if they put any pressure on Nix, which I don't expect they will. See, we're going to get a normal spread punt here. 3x3, you get the 3-man shield. Special teams is going to be huge. The scout team's wearing the vest there. You want a good snap and a good kick. What do we got? Do we got a procedure penalty here? Do we got a delay? Yep, we got a procedure penalty. Again, being backed up, you take your 5, half your distance from the goal line, but you don't want that. That's going to add more insult to injury. You're already punting. And look, they know they're not coming after this punt. The punter knows they're not coming after this punt. You got one guy to the shield there. He's got a good swing. Looked open-legged. Really good ball here. Really good ball here. Good fair catch. And you see the diamond there on the return. That's how you want to fit it. Left, right, and in the middle. All right, here we go. Bo Nix coming out. Let's see what we got. Very interested to see the first personnel grouping that comes out. I see at least one tight end. I see at least one. We're going to commercial. It's going to be pretty interesting, in my opinion. I would not be surprised if you saw a trick play as well. Starting out on this opening drive. Would not be surprised at all if you saw a trick play to try and get the fans in it. Maybe a fake reverse with a post over the top. Maybe a double reverse. Hell, maybe even a triple reverse. I mean, this is the same guy that called the Statue of Liberty play against Oklahoma, so who knows what you're going to get. But appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you got any questions, drop them down below on that first drive. Now, the point scoring is always interesting in spring games. I've always been I wanted to treat it like a real game. You play in real regulated games. I know it's fun for people to say, all right, well, you get, 6 points for an interception or, 4 points if you steal somebody's, Diet Coke at halftime. I think it's ridiculous. You should play the game how you normally play it. Let the guys get used to the parameters that it's in. Whether you're going 1s versus 1s or 1s versus 2s or 2 versus 2s, it doesn't really matter. So, again, if you got any questions, drop them down below. My esteemed colleague and my brother as well, or at least that's what they told me. Blaine Crane's going to be the one divulging some of the questions. Make sure you head over to Venmo or PayPal to donate. But very excited to see this first drive. There's been a lot of built up. And listen, you're not going to see the whole kitchen sink here. We were just doing Alabama's game. You got split zone. You got inside zone. You saw the GT one time. You saw the normal power. But you saw a ton of 11 personnel. You saw a ton of 12 personnel. And you saw a ton of getting the ball to the tight end. Will we see that at Auburn? And we should have at least a glimpse of it. Darren Usher tweeted out that the tight end is going to be a huge part of this attacking Auburn offense. But we'll see. Those stories have been written before and haven't come to fruition. We'll see how much. I expect you'll see a lot of tight end in the red zone as well, which is where the money's made. That's the matchup problem. So they're showing Bo Nix highlights. All that stuff's great. You got to start winning the ones that matter. Got to start winning the ones that matter.
And what do you want to see Bo Nix do well today?
Play through the pocket. Go through reads. Throw the check down. If it's not there, putting the ball in the tight end, you'd much rather be in 2nd and 6 than 2nd and 13 or, do what he did last year and run around and throw behind your body. So here we go. I want to see him under center, too. I want to see how he handles the drop and stuff. That's always interesting. We got 1st and 10 here. Bo Nix needing the Brian Harsin-led offense. You see Brodarius Ham there at tackle. Watch the tackles. Don't watch the ball the whole game. Watch a little bit more than the ball. Watch up front. You'll really understand. See, we're going under center. We're going under center. We got some trickery backside. Oh, my gosh. Nobody freak out. Actually, everybody freak out. Not only did Auburn go under center, they just hit the tight end in the middle of the field. All right, hang it up. Good job, guys. Great A-Day. Good job by Coach Harsin there. Appreciate you guys. No, I'm just kidding. That's a good start and good protection there. That's just so weird to see. You got vibes of 2004 here. All right, yeah, you've got 12 personnel. You see the tight end back. Now it's going to go to 2x2 on your across motion. Really using the outside of the field. Good job there on the little hitch. Reading the leverage inside. Good job by both guys right there. At the end of the day, I'm really, really interested to see. I mean, you look at Elijah Canyon, guy that had a huge game against Northwestern, had a big play. He's one of the guys we said to watch for. And how about Auburn going to the tight end for the first play? I can't believe it, really. Tyler Fromm, the brother of Jake Fromm, Jake from State Fromm, there. And all you got was you got a little over, and it was built off the flow to the field. We're going under center again. Let's see the personnel. Are they in single back? Oh, and you got a little speed sweep. Got a little speed sweep. Very nice there. Really liking the flow and the pace of the offense. Javarius Johnson, a guy they've talked a ton about in camp. Good buddy of mine, Cornelius Williams, is really high on him. You see Frazier right there as well. The tight ends, Luke Deal, they're out in force. He's going to be split out here. All right, so you've got 11 personnel. Tight end is on the ball down the bottom. That's going to be an offsides. And everybody on offense should be pointing to the defensive guy. Even if you're wrong, always point. It's always his fault. And that looked like an offsides. I don't think a receiver flinched. But already you're seeing a little bit of a new offense. And, yep, it's going to be offsides. That's a good call. And something that, if you're Nick Eason and you're the Auburn defensive line, you want to get these out of the way early. This plagued Auburn a lot last year. Guys getting a little bit excited. And, look, you're out there. You're able to fly around a little bit more, but you got to keep your composure. Romello Height there, a guy that they are pretty high on. Really good frame as well. All right, you're going to get a little 10 personnel. We got trips. Back is to the trips. And a little zone read. And nobody's going to be there for the quarterback. Good job by Bo Nix. It's not going to be that easy. Look like they might be setting up for a little outside zone there. It's amazing now. It feels like every play is the quarterback has the ability to keep the ball, whether it's a RPO, which they can even keep it in the pass, or the zone read, really to hold that defensive end because it's a numbers game. It's a math game. If you can take a hat out of the box, you can get one more double team, or that's one less guy you have to fit up for or get away from. So we're in 12 personnel. Ball's really in the middle of the field, which is rare. You could call that left middle. 2's on the ball down at the bottom. We're alert smash. Would not be surprised to see smash here. Great job by Height. Auburn's tackle, Brodarius Ham, just not super comfortable. And we've talked about this. It's asking a lot. Brodarius Ham is an NFL guard, and having to pass that. Romello Height just beat him there. He just beat him athletically. He ran the hoop on him a little bit. And Bo, good job. Don't know if he really felt that, but with the little Johnny Manziel spin out, reverse out. Remember, drop those questions down below, guys. I know you got some. I'm going to get them from my brother here in a second. Keep pumping them. Got 2 on the ball up top in doubles. It's a smash alert. See, we're playing 2 high here. You got a light box, so Derek Mason's answering that by light box. You see your Will Backers on the hash there. You got a little zone. Really good job. Really good job by the Auburn defensive line there, collapsing that. Tank did fall on the cut, though, but not a terrible move. You're going to get that outside zone. You're going to get some mid zone. You're going to get some stretch. It's really all kind of one thing, to be honest with you, one scheme, one mindset. As you can see right now, they're showing the Auburn coaching staff. Tank Bigsby, again, I'd give him the ball twice. 3rd and 10. Let's see. Would not be surprised to see a screen here. Or do we go to the tight end in the seam? All right. You've got the tight end on the ball. Both are on the ball. They're going to motion. Still going to stay 2x2. You're going to stay with the original coverage call. You got zone. Tried to pick the back. Good Lord. Oh, man. And you got to fumble. You got to fumble. Let's see when it come out. Was it off the ricochet? And you got to fumble Tank Bigsby. And that was a little pick play they tried to run to the boundary there. You saw the slant. They're trying to pick the inside guy, get one-on-one with Tank, so he can do that. Let's see if they'll show it again. Beat 1. Ball's in the wrong arm. I think he stepped out of bounds. Really, really good job there by 19. Kamal Haddon, the junior college transfer. You're going to see some new guys out here. I couldn't really tell if Tank stepped out right there. We got any questions, Mike?
Yeah, Jay, we got a question from Andrew Bushy. Do you think JJ will still have some offensive packages, or do you think he's strictly a defensive player now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think he's going to be involved in goal line and short yardage on offense. Again, it's not he already knows a lot of the blocking schemes up there. So when Auburn, if it's 4th and 1, or there's a big 3rd and 1, or they're down in 1st and goal from the 1, or 3rd and goal from the 1, or 4th and goal from the 1, I think you're going to see J.J. Pegues not only blocking but running the ball as well. He's familiar with that, but he does need a ton of time on that defensive side. So I think they're going to sprinkle him in. Would not be surprised to see him in some Whalecat, as we called it as well. That's a great question.
Also, we have a question from Justin Wilson here. Who's your top 2 receivers in that room for this year?
I think it's 2 guys we just saw. Javarius Johnson. I know Coach Cornelius, Coach Corn as we call him, is very high on him. He's a guy that's done a lot. Reminds me of Ryan Davis. But again, Elijah Canyon, you saw him make a catch there on the hitch. I love his body type. It looks like he's leaned up even more. Because remember, against Northwestern, he had a huge catch and run and really looked like a man amongst boys. So from a ceiling standpoint, I really like him. My question is Kobe Hudson and how much you're going to get out of him. Because from an athletic standpoint, he is so talented. You saw they gave Javarius the speed sweep. So I'll give you 3. I'll give you Javarius Johnson. I'll give you Elijah Canyon. And I'll give you Kobe Hudson. Those are 3 I'm looking for, Justin.
And I got one here from Hunter Stewart. Do you think we'll see any Demetrius Davis at quarterback this year? Maybe some packages.
That's a great. I'd have to be in that room to know how much he's progressing. If they feel like he's progressed enough where they can put him in certain situations and go ahead and burn that red shirt. We know the red shirt rule nowadays is you can play in some games. You just can't play in a certain percentage of snaps. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some mop-up duty early if they're able to get ahead of some of these non-conference teams and then come in and do his thing, and then they'll see from there whether he can. So right now I think it's too early to tell, but if you're seeing him get some scratch or playing time early in some of these blowouts, I would expect him to have a chance down the road as well. All right, we look like we're getting back. Again, more questions. If you want to donate, hit us up at Venmo, Jacob-Crane-3. If you do donate, I will answer your question first on PayPal as well. Make sure you check that out. Great play by Kamal Haddon right there. Being able to rip that ball out, putting his face in it. So here we go. The 2s are back out. All right, and when I'm calling out these personnel guys, understand too, they may sometimes have these tight ends lined up in the slot down here at the bottom, and I just can't see the numbers. So this looks like 11 personnel, though. Let's see if we get a run here. Yep, you're going to get a little zone. That was a zone read. Probably should have been a keep, to be honest with you, from Grant Loy right there. Auburn kind of slanted toward that. And again, I want to talk a lot of times, and you're not going to see a ton in spring, but teams will give away tendencies based on back alignment, especially out of heavier personnel. So sometimes when they're one back, one tight, if the tight end's on this side and he's in the hip and the back's away from him, there's a huge tendency that it's, inside zone or a split zone or something like that. So you won't see it a ton in this game. You will because it's base, I guess. But we got a flop motion here. That's going to change the way the defense has to bump. They've got to bump. The backer has to bump. They got there late. You got to stack up top. Again, another zone run, a little inside zone there. That's one thing I think Brian Harsin does a good job of, and Malzahn didn't do enough of it as his career kind of progresses, changing the motions a little bit. We call that trade. When you have two tight ends go from one side of the line of scrimmage to other, we call that a trade motion. I want y'all to know because they're trading the line of scrimmage, and that signals that there's two of them. Because, again, you typically have one-man motions. So same personnel. They ended up in the same formation, basically outside of the stack from up top. We've got a check with me on the sidelines. He's giving them the play. They know the coverage is cover one. Look, guys, it's cover one. They're telling you, man, guy in the sky, and we're mugging down below because you got two heavy players in there. Number 2's on the ball up top. This should be an outside leverage coverage from the slot. He got beat outside. That's a really good combination right there. The quarterback's got to put that on him. He's got to put that on him. That's a really nice combination at the bottom right there. And again, Auburn has struggled to find a backup quarterback. That's a throw. Grant Loy is a big guy that can run. I think he had 5 completions at Bowling Green. I think me and him have the same amount of completions. And you see Landon King there. Man, you wish you would have put that ball on him. You could have seen the freshman there really excited about out of Beaumont to give him a chance because he's long, he's strong, he can run, can do a lot of things. So you're going to get a punt here from the 2s. Auburn's got that little offset, what we call a spread punt. The 3-man shield, little bobble there. See the placement of the punt. Decent punt, pretty decent punt, good coverage. You see the scout team with the beanies. We got questions, Blaine?
Yeah, we got a question here from Robert Thomas. Do you think we'll see some Chenille Garnett?
I hope so because I keep hearing different things about this kid. Whether it's him or whether it's Sawyer Pate, guys like that. You want to be able to see if they can live up to, I wouldn't say the hype, but I want to see his arm strength. I want to see how he throws the ball. We know physically he's built well, and this is the time to do it. So I don't think you may see him. That's the biggest, most interesting thing, in my opinion, this first half. We've seen Grant Loy for a couple drives. Who's coming in to be the next guy for Grant Loy? Because Bo Nix is going to get some scratch here going down. And without that Tank Bigsby fumble, Auburn was driving pretty well. But it's funny. It's going to be Bo Nix and everybody else. The question is, who's that next person? But I think we'll see Garrett, yes.
We got a question here from Hunter Stewart. Do you think we'll see Bo throw the ball more this year, or do you still see us being pretty run-heavy?
Well, Brian Harsin's offense, they're going to run to open up the pass. But, I say that, and you always want to be balanced. The odds of being 50-50 aren't good. If you're exactly 50-50, everybody's going to start to worry. It's almost predictable in itself. But I think you're going to see more passing attempts than you saw last year, but a lot of it will be, check downs that get thrown to the back. You'll see quick hits to the tight end, stuff like that. So it won't be hey, we're going to throw it 45 times a game and mix up 4 to 5 different. It's going to be the bubble screen and slot fade, and we'll throw a vert and maybe run a slant and RPOs. What you're going to see is actual route combinations that lead to more security blankets like the tight end. So to answer your question, yes, I think you're going to see a little more throwing the ball because, again, the tight end adds such a different element to the game. So it's a great question. Will it be by a ton? I don't think so, but I think there will be more throws, especially in the red zone. It's a great question, though.
We got a question here from Michael Robler. Are you doing an A-Day breakdown podcast this week?
Yeah, I'll do one that's breaking down the whole game. After I watch it, obviously we're doing it live here, but this will also be recorded as well on our YouTube page, so make sure you guys check that out as well. All right, here we go. We're back in it. All right, you see Brian Harsin rocking the Navy. Thought it was a good choice today. Thought it was a good choice with the Terminator sunglasses
Love
on.
the shades.
Yeah. Shout out Skynet. All right, let's see what we got here in the second drive. Wouldn't be surprised to see a shot early here. Probably a play-action shot, I would guess. I love Canyon deep. I love his catch radius. I love the way he's able to body guys up. And again, we're 0-0 here. All right, we got Bo Nix. We're going to be back in shotgun. Got Shivers in the game. Little inside zone. Here he goes. Shifty Sean. That's a good run there. And to me, I think he's going to be a guy you use more for outside zone and stretch like that. But if he can run the inside zone, that was great blocking as well. If he's able to be effective in the inside zone, he kind of struggles to cut, in my opinion, especially in the open space. But he's a dart. He can get going north and south. And he's so small, he gets underneath guys. That's why he's able to run them over.
It's actually a great question here. What areas can you see Shivers improve on?
His lateral movement. Let's see. We just got zone again, little inside zone, getting after him a little bit up front. To me, I think catching the ball out of the backfield, he's got to become a better receiver out of the backfield. But just his ability to cut, and that's not just with the ball, being able to get open. He does a good job protecting the ball. But his lateral movement's got to be better. He's got to be able to make the safety miss and go score on one of these. All right, got another zone. I mean, they're just ripping them inside. This is nothing but inside zone. This is big on big with the combos, and this is something. I mean, if you're Will Friend, this got to get you a little emotional right now, seeing your guys line up and just hit somebody in the mouth. And I wish they'd show the replay. You can see the pace is kind of picking up a little bit now. It's slowed down, but as they were running inside zone, as it was moving, they were continuing to kind of build up the pace. I like that. That's kind of that offensive mindset there from Brian Harsin and Mike Bobo. Let's see if we don't get the same thing again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, you got 12 personnel. You got a stack up top. Let's see if you get the screen off of it. You did. There it is. There he is. That's Elijah Canyon. It's a big body. That's a really, really, really good tackle right there in open space. That's a hard guy to bring down. I mean, you're looking at Elijah. I mean, he's not literally 6'4", about 215. You'd like to see him stiff arm that guy and break that tackle. But you've seen him come together in that stack twice. They've ran the little bubble off of it. You got formation in the boundary. Here comes another screen. Really good block there. Oh, that was Jake Fromm. Guys, this is executed offense. This is executed offense, and it comes down to timing. There's Kobe Hudson, another guy we just talked about. To answer your question, you can see him. And again, when you're motioning and you formation in the boundary, a lot of teams have to check base as a defense. And when you check base, they know what you're in because they got a good idea what your base is because it's a cat and mouse game. Look at Cornelius over there in the pinstripe. Staying in the heavy formation. Oh, you got a little fullback action here. This is a great cut by Sean Shivers. Got to get north. Wow, this is a really nice run. Now, you just asked me the question in what areas. Did you see when Sean Shivers tried to cut inside there, he had to stop his whole body and turn where Tank can stick his foot in the ground and cut it up. Now, he broke the tackle and it was a great run, but that's the difference right there. One's able to stick his foot in the ground and get north, which gets your shoulders back to square, which makes you a better runner and harder to tackle. And that was a really nice run by Sean, but he did that off pure effort. All right, we're in the red zone. Do not be surprised to see a throw to the bottom right here. Would not be surprised to see a corner from the tight end with his hand on the ball. You're going to get a run. That's great base blocking down at the bottom. Good job by the interior defensive line. I wish they'd show a replay of this because Dylan Fromm just rooted out. That's another zone run. We've seen nothing but zone runs. We've seen inside zone. We've seen jet sweep, which in reality is a zone run. Nobody's pulling on jet sweep. Not even the guy getting the jet sweep. That's a motion, not a pull. But will we see a tight end in the red zone get a pass here? Our producer, David Cohn, was a quarterback at Michigan. Are we going to see a tight end catch a pass here, David, in the red zone? He thinks yes. He thinks yes. Let's see, you got the slam. They ran it again. That's a nice keep. Put the ball away. Look at this. This is what Bo gives you. Put the ball away. You can say what you want about the call there. If it had worked, it would have been great. I'd rather you ran a boot. Surprised Auburn hadn't gone under center. And now they're going to get a field goal, especially on third down. That's tough there. Interesting play calling. Look at Tank Bigsby dropping the kickoff return and probably still ran it for a touchdown.
I got some questions here. I actually got a question from Isaiah Moore. What is Tank Bigsby's ceiling if the O-line starts to really get comfortable?
I mean, I think it's as high as anybody's. I mean, if he can protect the ball, we saw him fumble. And again, he played last year, did a good job protecting the ball. We understand that. I don't want to put a limit on Tank Bigsby. A lot of it, to me, comes down to, like you mentioned, how good the offensive line is. Because ceiling-wise, he could be the best back in the country. And I don't think anybody will argue that, even in the SEC. He has that type of ability. What I'm interested to see, Isaiah, and it's a great question, is how many balls he catches out of the backfield. Because he's a guy that is really deadly as a receiver. And not just swings, and not just angles, and not just short passes, but vertical passes as well. Stuff down the field, wheel routes, stuff of that nature. So that's a really good question.
We got another question from I Am Trouble. Would the receiver show decent route running by the season opener?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it'll be, because the combinations are better. We're releasing an episode with Anthony Schwartz this week, who's a guy that's got a chance to be drafted, talking about how he's just excited now to have the ability to run routes, more than a vertical and more than a bubble screen and maybe a hitch or a slant every now and then. And I think you've already seen it a little bit. I'd like to see some more deep comebacks. I think the tight ends are running pretty smooth. I'm watching them base block, and they're doing a good job. But I think the receivers will be able to run crisp routes because there's crisp routes to run. You're not going to be able to eat stuff you don't plant. And now finally they're able to plant these routes, and then you're going to see it harvest during the season. So they'll do a good job on air. They'll do a good job this summer during voluntary workouts. I think you'll see Auburn be crisp. Where I want to see Auburn take a step is winning the ball in the air outside of Seth Williams. You can run a great route, you can get separation, but you got to catch the damn thing.
And kind of the two-parter from the Sean Shivers question from earlier, HBZ, he says, on top of that, can he be a true number 2 back in the SEC this year behind Tank?
I think he's going to have to be by default unless Devin Barrett's just something that would surprise me. I think his ceiling is limited for those reasons I just mentioned. But again, he doesn't have to be a superstar. He doesn't have to be Tank Bigsby. You got to be the change-up. Where I'm excited to see Sean Shivers. And to answer your question, yes, to a point. I think he can be a serviceable backup. I don't think it's going to be some 1-2-headed monster. It shouldn't be that way with Tank Bigsby anyway. But his cutting, to me, it looks like it's improved a little bit. Still got to work on that. And again, his pass catching ability and probably most importantly, his pass protection ability. Because when you're that little, sometimes you can be a liability in pass protection.
A quick question here from Child96. Do you guys think we can get an offensive tackle from one of the spring league teams once the season is over?
That is the question of the day so far. I think yes. That's why, and I tweeted out that new NCAA rule where you get the one-time transfer with no penalty. Typically, if you're having to transfer from an FCS school and transfer up, right, you got to sit a year as opposed to transferring down where you don't have to sit a year. Now you don't. So all these teams that are playing in the spring, and I believe it's May 1st when it starts, Auburn needs to go get at least 2 of them. And there's a couple of them out there. Don't think these games have not been watched. And they're going over Auburn's schedule right now. It's a great question. We'll get to some more of them. Keep down there. Make sure, if you like what we're doing, hit that Venmo, Jacob-Crane-3, our PayPal at The J-Boy Show. If you do that, your question will be answered first. If for some reason I didn't see it, just tell us in the YouTube chat. But please keep spreading the word. We're going to do this during the fall as well for Auburn games and a couple other games during Saturday, the bigger games. So get used to being here and get used to turning that volume down and listen to us because we're going to keep breaking it down from a standpoint that I don't think you guys are normally are used to getting. So we got the 2s coming out again on offense here. Interested to see who's going to be at quarterback. It's been Grant Loy. We're going to get a kickoff. Got a lefty here. Haven't seen that at Auburn in a while. I want to see how this one goes, which, from a special team standpoint, I always love having a lefty kicker and a lefty punter because everything goes the opposite. You're actually going to get a left. See, guys, I'm going to be kicking it in the middle is not the way to go. That's the easy way for disaster, and we just had a bust there by the off returner. You saw the R3, that's what we used to call him, or really the L3, the way the kickoff return team is looking at it. Him coming through with nobody blocked, that off returner has to block back on him because that's the one guy. Now, they let him run that through. That's just they're setting up the return, getting used to it. But again, kicking the ball to the middle of the field, and they may have done that by design for the return team, but that is not a habit you want your kicker getting into. And it's going to be Grant Loy, again, a guy that's probably going to be able to sell you insurance here in a couple years. I'm interested to see who this next guy is going to come in behind him and who's going to be able, to get it going. I don't think Loy throws the ball well enough to be a threat. Now I know he's going to get into coaching, and again, he could sell you coaching insurance. I don't know, whatever they call it. But let's see how we got it here. Very interested to see if there's any formation differences. We've seen a lot of 11. We've seen a lot of 12, a lot of base stuff. Nothing really crazy, but we did get a throw to the tight end to start the game off, and don't think that wasn't by design. So we're going to be in the gun. All right, we're going to 11 personnel again. A little orbit motion, that's what we call that. That's not going to work into the boundary. So that motion behind, we always call that an orbit because, again, you're orbiting the quarterback. That run was by Jay Sharp, freshman from Birmingham, from Pinson Valley, actually. So getting a little play there, 44. That's an interesting name. I haven't heard. The other 44 is freshman D-tackle Lee Hunter on the defensive side, who's an absolute monster. Going to be in the pistol here. You've already seen a lot of different looks. You've seen out of the gun. We've seen under center. We've seen some pistol. They're in 11 again. This is Trey. So 3-by-1 with the tight end attached. This is Trey. That's what we call it. It's not trips. Another zone play. Eaten up. And there's Zacoby. You're going down like a sweet muffin. Good job staying on the backside there. Again, we've seen all zone. Haven't seen any gap scheme. Haven't seen split zone. Going to be very interested to see if we get any of that. That's something that Mike Bobo really likes. Haven't seen a ton of RPOs. Now, what you saw with that Auburn motion, we've seen that a lot under Gus Malzahn as well. It's almost a form of the triple option because you can give it, you can keep it, and turn it into a true speed option. We got doubles here. Number 2's on the ball. We're screaming smash alert up top. That looks like a tight end. They're keeping the personnel. High-low op. And that one's high and wide. That looked like high-low op. Do we got a question, Blaine?
Yeah, so we got a question here from Hunter Stewart. He said Tank showed some explosives on special teams last year. Do we see him returning any punts or kicks this year?
I would keep him off of it. He's probably your best returner, but it's just not worth it. Yeah. I mean, he's your top back. He's going to touch the ball a whole hell of a lot. If you don't have anybody else that can return kicks or at this point, or somebody that's somewhat explosive. And again, it's not Brian Harson's fault. It's really the personnel he inherited. But I just don't think it's worth the risk. You look at Jalen Waddle last year. Breaks his ankle on a kickoff return. Now they smashed everybody, but if you could go back, I guarantee you, and we always talk about it, pretty average punt there. We always talk about it. And as a special teams guy, I always wanted our best player returning, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for the team.
Hey, Auburn all day saying he's liking the way the new offense looks. What's your feeling about the new sets and the under center and shotgun? How do you feel about the way the offense looked today?
No, I like it so far. I like the personnel groupings. It's it's been somewhat similar from a personnel grouping to Gus Malzahn, but the sets and the formations have been different. What I like, what I think you're going to see is I like the pick routes with the back out of the backfield on the ball that Tank fumbled. That was a little clear out with the pick underneath it. But what I like is that the tight ends are actually in the progression. It's not just a decoy. It's not just, all right, they're not in the progression, I'm going to work back down to them. They are actually the second read from what I've seen in most of these. And really on the first play, that was the first read. You're seeing where that safety is. You run the over underneath him really, and that's when he hit Luke or the Fromm kid, Jake Fromm's little brother, for the first down. So I like the diversity of what I'm seeing. I like another thing. Not a lot of people are gonna notice. Look at how the splits are different from the wide receivers. We're seeing 2 on the ball a lot. We're seeing 2 off the ball a lot. We're seeing the tight ends change their splits. We're seeing tight ends flexed out. What that does to a defensive coordinator is it makes you have to start thinking about personnelling things because you've got no tendencies right now. Obviously, Auburn knows what Auburn's going to do, but earlier in the year. So to answer your question, yes, I think it's been diverse. I'm ready to see how diverse the run game can get, though. Outside of the jet sweep, it's been just inside zone and outside zone.
Got a question here from Child96. Do you think Dylan Brooks can come in right away and make some noise, or will he be a four-game redshirt guy?
I think he has the ability to come in and help. I always think a red shirt for a guy that's totally not ready is the way to go. Does he have enough? Because he's still raw coming out of high school now. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of moves from the pass rush. Not used to playing at this level. Could he help some in spot duty? I think so. But to me, I would rather redshirt him.
Okay, we got Brett Compton here. How long do you think it'll take Pegues to find a groove, get his feel, to get some on time on the defense on the field?
It's one thing to understand the playbook. It's another thing to physically understand it and know what's in front of you and be used to the physicality that it takes on the defensive side. Now, he's done the hand-to-hand combat as a tight end. I would say, to me, I think it would take, for most guys, at least 2 to 3 weeks. See, I count it in reps, not really days. But we're back here. I think it'll be sooner than later. Going to get a play-action shot here. Got some separation. Was it a push-off? Want to see the combination. That's actually a pretty good job there by 12. Sammy Cohen from Marietta, Georgia, from Pope.
Hey, real quick question here from Isaiah Moore on defense. The ones that have been pretty suffocating. Do you think the standout group this year will be definitely by the defense?
Yes. I actually think the secondary is going to be very, very good. Now, you need the defensive line to be good, but yes, and I believe it'll come from the secondary. I love the personnel, and I like what I'm seeing from the DBs right now as a whole. so far. All right. We got a little pass interference call, I'm guessing there. Back to 1st and 10. A huddle. A huddle, guys. Watch out. Watch out. There's a huddle. Not just a sugar huddle, which means everybody just bursts out. All right. Show the full screen. Play action off the jet. Little inside zone. Woo! Chris Thompson Jr., number 5, laying the wood a little bit right there. I like that. You saw, again, not nearly the triple option kind of look that you got earlier, off the zone read with the orbit, whatever you want to call it. That was trying to get the flow, then attack the flow from inside out. Second one, you got to take a shot here, in my opinion. All right, you got Trey. Now they're going to give it to the big dog. Here he goes. Good night. Good night. Good night, good night, good night. That's inside zone. That's going to be, and again, you always want the linebackers and the D-line to make plays. What safety took his eyes off? That's my question. They should show that again. Tank Bigsby, all right, get him out of the game. It was a great job. It's a great spring game by Tank Bigsby. Get him out of the game. He has nothing else to prove. There you go. Boys and fellas, that's inside zone, and that's Chris Thompson Jr. That's how the game of football is. You just make a play on Tank Bigsby. They come back, basically run the exact same thing, and you're out of position. All it takes is one guy being out of position, especially at safety. Unbelievable job, too, by the offensive line. You saw the combos there. You saw the tight end setting that edge on the front side. That's not a hinge. A hinge is when you're on the backside hinging. We call that digging out. Laugh if you want. That's keeping the backside guy outside, letting that ball hit underneath. We got some questions, Blaine?
No, we don't. But, you can see the difference right there between Shivers and Tank Bigsby when he 100%. Sticks his foot in the ground and gets north. Yeah. It's miles apart.
Yeah, and Tank, we all know how special he is. And I do, when you're looking at inside zone, okay, and I'm going to come over to the board here real quick. I'm just going to draw this up, pretty quickly. Nothing fancy. I'm going to draw it up. We'll do it kind of like an Auburn right
here. How they just were. We'll call him Y. Make sure you guys can see me. All you're getting here on inside zone, and I'm going to draw this up versus over front. All right, and again, we don't have to get into the weeds on that. All right, basically all you're getting on inside zone, because what is he doing? He is rooting out, and let me get your nickel right here. Again, you've got free. This is going to be weak. Your nickel is going to the strength. Tight end's the strength here. All you're doing is zoning up. That's it. And it can hit anywhere. Guy overflows. It can cut back on that instance. And again, the back can be here. The back can be in pistol. The back can be here. All you're doing is zoning. You're comboing up. That's it. What happened right there is he's down in. The backers got overtaken. Ends got overtaken. They dug out here. The nickel was out of the play. Chris Thompson tried to come down, was in the wrong gap, and he popped it there for a touchdown. So pretty simple. Guys, that isn't a complex deal. That's inside zone out of 11 personnel, out of the hip. Now, typically last year what you saw was a ton of split zone. I'll make sure I get back before the commercial's over. Is a ton of split zone, all right, where the tight end is coming back and you're running zone away from that. All right, with J.J. Pegues, that's what you saw a ton of. So split zone, because he's splitting it, you're still running your zone. I'll do it against the over front real quick. Will, Mike, again, your zone. Boom, boom, come on up, boom. However, on the back side, you're going to come kick this end out. Then you'd see the play action off that, where they had run split zone a couple times with Pegues. Now here he comes to split. In's thinking split zone, Will's thinking split zone. Then I slip him into the flat. I run the play action, and I hit him. Auburn scored on that a couple times too with J.J. Pegues. So that's inside zone, that's split zone, and we've seen a ton of zone. I still have yet to see a gap scheme run, which is fine, especially when it's working. And again, checking the phone right here, making sure we got everything, and we're back. Going to get another special teams play here. The kickoff team's going to be the scout team. Notice the formation Auburn has on kickoff return. All right, they got a 6-man front, ball off tee, making sure we're not getting any surprise on side. Good stacking there. You're going to get a boundary return. All right, now you see how I think that was Brendan Frazier was lagging in the back right there. When you get ready to set that wedge, and you can't really call it a wedge anymore, you can't really come together anymore, but when you're back there setting it, the timing of that is the most important, and that timing wasn't great because all it is a run play.
All right, we talk about power, right? He's pulling around to kick, to log, get to the back or whatever. That's all that a kickoff return is. You have your kick out, all right, your trap, whatever you want to call it, and your double, and you're trying to hit it there. Typically, every kickoff return has a double.
I got a question here from Brian Robinson. He says the defensive line looks really small, especially the number twos. Do you see us have any issues this year stopping the run?
Yeah, I think from a personnel and depth standpoint, that's why losing Jeremiah Wright hurts you so much. That's why J.J. Pegues is getting moved over there. From a depth standpoint, it's concerning. I like the first group. See, look right here. Auburn's in a 3 down. They got a 0, something they didn't do a ton of last year, if any at all. You're going to get a 4-man rush. It always turns into 4 down, and that catch has got to be made. That's a good job by Zacoby. But that's that Derek Mason 3-down look right there. You saw the 0. You saw the 2 threes. You saw the outside backers. Some people call that a solid front. And you're always going to get to 4. Even though we say 3 down, some people even call it a 5 down because the backers are up, which, at the end of the day, potato. We're in the gun again. All right, you're going to get true 10 personnel here unless that's Landon King down there in the slot on the ball. They're both on the ball, so we're getting ready for a smash concept. Quarterback's going to take off. Zacoby, that would have been close. Defensive guy always going to say he would have had him. I don't blame him. I've been there before.
I don't think he touched him. I think he's still running.
I don't think he touched him either. But again, that's the one benefit of spring. I was there. Coach, he's got an orange jersey on. I had to pull up.
Yeah.
That debate will happen forever. And as a defensive guy, he touched him. He was there. And we all know it. Anybody that says different's a cheater and a liar. All right, let's look at the defense here going against the twos. And again, not a bad idea to look at the tackles, too, on the offensive line. I just want to see how they line up. You're going to get a 0 again. All right. Looks like you're going to get a 0 and 2 threes. Look how Auburn's playing the cluster up top. They brought a little pressure. That's a good catch. Ball was thrown behind him. Brought a little pressure. Calvin Newton. How about that? That name sounds familiar. All right, they're going to hurry up the pace here. All right, Auburn's back to an even front. Looks like an over front. You've got a 3 and a 5. You've got a shade and a 5. All right, they brought a boundary pressure. Good job picking it up. Look, nobody's open, but Grant Lloyd, he's not able to do it. He's just not able to do it from a throwing standpoint.
Great pickup from the back.
That was a really good pickup from the back. And then people say, oh, well, look like he got ran over. He kind of got run over to the right side. Get run over to the right side. And we always talk about leverage from the DBs and stuff like that. And there's Derek Hall. I'm telling you, he's my preseason All-SEC player. Colby Wooden. I think he has a chance to be All-SEC out of Lawrenceville in Georgia. We've got 11 personnel. This is Trey off. It's Trey because of a tight end. It's off because he's off the ball. You got the back to the same side. Great protection. Grant Loy, and again, I'm going to look who this is, 32. Trent Mason from Lakeland. Hope you're better at fishing, buddy. Anyways, ready to see who else Auburn's going to bring in at quarterback outside of Grant Loy to get some scratch. Just from a throwing standpoint, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think he can do it. Now we're in true trips. 10 personnel. Now it's going to go to empty. You got your empty check. Let's see if it's a man or a zone check for Auburn. It is a man check. See, all right. You see why Smoke's throwing his hands up right there. I think Auburn was in 2-man right there. All right, and I'll go over what 2-man is. And when they motioned it out to empty, one of the safeties didn't go with somebody. Because it's impossible to run 2-man really against empty. I mean, you can, but, you got 5 guys out there. Let's think about it. You've got a nickel, 2 corners, 2 safeties. It's really 5 on 5. All right, so we're going to get another punt. I'm going to draw up 2-man real quick so you guys can see it. I talk about it all the time. And this is something that Bama runs a lot of on third and passing down. Now, really, Bama could run peanut butter and jelly sandwich with all the personnel that they've had. So real quick, just so you guys kind of know what I mean, I'm going to draw this up quick. Let's see, unless we're in commercial break. Doesn't look like we are. All right, real quick. I'm just going to draw this up here so we have it. Weak safety, free safety, nickel, corner, and tackle, nose, end, will, Mike.
Oh, and we are in commercial break. Good. Let's slow it down a little bit. So I'm just going to draw it out of doubles, out of 10 personnel. Why is it 10 personnel? 10 personnel is 1 running back and 0 tight ends. That's why 11 personnel is 1 running back and 1 tight end. That's why you hear me say these things. You're going to keep hearing me say it during the year and what it means. So 2-man. All right, this is 2-man. Locked man-to-man. Locked man-to-man. Locked man-to-man. Locked man-to-man. High safety here. High safety here. You're responsible for this. So in cover 2, right? All right, we split the field in half for the safeties. They basically have cover 2 rules. It can change now because there's man underneath, and we can bracket somebody. I'm going to get to that. All right, but in 2-man, the way the leverage works, and a lot of it can depend on who you're bracketing. I always liked my guys inside leverage. So the will, and this will be packaged sometimes on third and 10, 3rd and 9, when you know it's a passing down, you want to put that third corner in here at will. Now there's something you got to do because guess what? There's 5 offensive linemen, there's 5 people in the box, and that means there's an extra hat in there. So if you're ever going to go 2-man, you better stunt the front. All right, you better twist. You better do something, all right, because, again, if they pick you up, if they run quarterback draw, all right, and they pick up the tackle, and they pick up the end, and they pick up the nose, and they pick up the end, and the back and the center can go block one guy, it's a touchdown. Especially if these guys are running corners, there goes the safety, it's a touchdown. So you've got to stunt the front to protect yourself from quarterback draw, all right? And I know it looks kind of crazy right here. Draw this up again. This is 2-man. Now you say, okay, Jake, who has the back? The Mike has the back. So again, why do we stunt the front? To protect ourselves. Because since the Mike has the back, what stops the offense from saying, run the swing? There goes the Mike. Just run out. Just run out. It's going to draw everybody. And then the Mike's gone, and you have 5 blocking 4. That's why you have to stunt the front in 2-man. It's a great coverage. I love it. Now, from the coverage aspect of it, and I'm just going to draw it on this side for time's sake. Let's say, and again, here's your 2 receivers. Here's the corner. All right, here's the nickel. All right, we're inside leverage, we're man. We're inside leverage, we're man. Let's say that this is their dog. That's their dog. Well, we're going to bracket him. It's going to be me and the nickel are going to double team him. So I could say, hey, nickel, hey, cheat outside, bring him in here, and I'm going to jump it. All right, we used to have a solo call, solo, which means we're bracketing the slot guy. So corner, you're on your own. There is no help behind you. Here we go. We got the game coming back on. Got a little
Jailbreak screen. Good little design there. Is that Javarius? Is that number 6? That's what I'm guessing it is. That's a guy you're going to see on a ton of screens. I think you're going to see Kobe Hudson as well. Got any questions, Blaine?
So we got a question. Do you think Grant Lloyd's going to be the number 2 guy, or you think Demetrius Davis is going to?
Oh, gosh. I hope it's not Grant Lloyd. Let me get back to that one after this next play here. This is 12 personnel. All right. You can see you got your heavy guys to the field. Now it's formation in the boundary. We saw a screen last time. Play action off the screen. I bet you got him. That's going to be a penalty. He grabbed him. All right, now we saw a little bit of that during the Gus Malzahn era. Earlier in the game, you saw Auburn get in that same formation, all right, and it was ended up being formation into the boundary, which we're going to talk about that, which screws up defenses because you're used to having formation to the field, all right, where you call your strength. So Auburn hit the defense earlier for, I think it was like 8 to 12 yards. Had a decently nice play earlier off that screen where the tight end goes to kick out wide. They ran it again. The defense kind of fell for it. That's why he had to hold the guy so you get 10 yards and a free first down. Could have been a big play, probably a smart play to hold the guy because the DB got fooled. All right, here we're in 11 personnel. We used to call this duo. You see the tight end there to the boundary. You don't want to think it's doubles because it's not 10 personnel. Brought more than you can block right there. Brought more than you can block. Would like to see that again. I tell you what, man, you look at a guy like Zykevious Walker, and just physically looks really, really good. Really good. A guy that played a little bit as a freshman last year. And then you see Wesley Steiner, Mr. Spark. Guy that won the Spark Combine. Really, really good athlete. We're in 2nd and 9 here. All right. Would not be surprised if you see it. Let me see the personnel. This looks like a pass to me. Yep, got him. Got to catch that ball. Got to catch that ball. That's a really good play design. That's Kobe Hudson, a guy they're really counting on, a guy that can do a lot in space once he catches it. You saw that was a little delay there. You saw it was almost basically a pop play. Bo Nix was reading the guy on Kobe Hudson when deciding to either hand the ball, and he's going to pop off that. If there's space there, he's going to hit him. That was the right read. That was the right decision and a really good play design. You just got to catch the ball. You know, that's what makes you sick as a coach. You dial up the perfect thing. All right, we got 11 personnel. Look, 2's on the ball down here at the bottom. Yep. Let's see if he's going to push the split. He is going to push the split. It's going to widen him. Would not be surprised to see smash down here at the bottom. See if he throws the corner. Yep, that's what it was. He's going to extend the play. This is where Bo Nix is really good. That's a first down. Now, I talked about this earlier when Bama was playing. I talked about the smash concept. I think that's what he pushed him out. If you see the signal, God, I wish they'd show the bottom. He's looking at the corner, reading the corner or the hitch. That's what smash is. Good job there taking off. Full speed. I'd have been interested to see how that one worked out. But again, Bo Nix using his legs in the right way. And you can see he's actually making the right decisions on these progressions. All right, we've got, looks like 11 personnel. Looks like a bust by the back. Going to take a shot. Let's see. It looked like Shivers, I believe, has to keep going off that play action right there. They gave a shot to Malcolm Johnson Jr., a guy they signed last year and reclassified. But if you watch, Shivers has to keep working that wheel up, and Bo Nix can actually work back to him. You watched Bryce Young do that from Alabama on really their first big play of the game on that first drive. Pretty interested to see that Shivers didn't continue up on that wheel because I don't think anybody was there, and you always got to have that built in.
A quick question from Nola Trey here.
Yeah.
How do you think Bo looks so far?
I think he looks pretty good. I think he's making the right decision. Doesn't look as panicked to me in the pocket. I'm just watching him go through his progressions. You're going to get another little inside zone play. Not bad by Shivers. You really want to feel that B gap. They're really looking, and I know it's obviously inside zone, so you look inside, but Auburn almost looks like they're trying to hit it almost directly down the center's back. I'm kind of interested on this aiming point because I think the guards and tackles are doing a really good job in the B and C gap. There was a hole there for Shivers. I'm surprised we haven't seen more outside zone either or stretch. That's something that, Brian Harsin, that was a staple of his. A lot of mid zone, a lot of inside zone. Tanks coming back in the game, getting to 2 minutes here, 3rd and 7. Would not be surprised to see another screen here. Oh, little slant. Got to get your head around. He did. That is a tool that every offense should have. That was a pre-leverage read. We always say don't make your mind up where you're going to go with the ball, but until it's truly time. Bo Nix had a great idea. He was going to go to the slant there. The timing, really good job by the receiver sticking out. I wish they'd show the freaking replay so I could see where the inside guy was if he needed to put that on the hip right there or not. Because typically you see a guy throw it down so he can go down and get it. All right, trade. This is a trade motion. When both tight ends change sides, that's a trade motion. They're now in what we called heavy tray in that 3-by-1. Let's see what you get here. Backside, working back. Really good ball. So that was an over. All right, I'd wonder if you got some sort of a mesh concept off this. But Elijah Canyon, a guy you can tell they're really wanting to target, that was an over from one side to the other. That takes protection. That's something that Auburn has to have, but that's a big staple of what Brian Harsin did at Boise State, and it really opens you up, especially if you're in man. It's tough to cover that. So let's see. Do we get a timeout here? Looks like we're getting – now I'll say this. Watch out for the screen right here to Kobe Hudson. They've ran it. I would not be surprised to see a motion by the hit tight end. You can see him looking at the quarterback. Here he comes. Looking like you're going to get the screen. There it is. Oh, he kept it. Hey, all right, that's a little almost a quadruple RPO. What have you seen out of that formation, guys? What have you seen out of that formation? You've seen 3 different plays off one play. All right, we saw the normal screen off of it to Kobe Hudson. We saw the stalk and go, where you're faking like you're blocking that screen and you're going. And there you saw the little RPO off of it. He could have given it. He could have kept him himself, and he could have thrown it. To me, that's a true RPO, and that's something kind of that Nick Marshall, not in that exact same way, did. There's another play action. Kobe Hudson, really good job tracking right there. Man, I really like Romello Height. Really like Romello Height. I like the way that kid plays the game. I like his length. But the play calling selection, while it's been base, I believe has been pretty smart here. Let's see, we get a timeout at 58 seconds. 1st and 10. I'll be interested to see if we see any package stuff down here. Now, sometimes the time dictates that you can't go into your package with 58 seconds. But again, what did we see from that screen? What are the different plays
that we have seen off that. I want to go to the board over here for a second. All right. A lot of times when Auburn has put those tight ends like that to the field, it's been this screenplay. So just real quick, just for time's sake, not going to draw the D-line. What have we seen? Tight end here. All right. We've had quarterback, running back. All right. We've got X. All right. And we've got just Y. We'll call him Y. What have we seen? We've seen a motion here. Okay. So we have the corner. We have the safety. Let's put it here. And let's throw the nickel. Here's the way. When you're tight over here, they're going to call the strength. All right, here. So he's coming over to what? Kick the corner. All right, you can work up here, and you try and turn it into a one-on-one, and then you try and get a tackle out front. Now, if this nickel's not there, then you have the numbers. But they have literally ran the screen to X right here to hit it. They ran the stalk and go off of it, which you had to hold them. And now they actually wrote it, and it was really here. Wrote it, could have given it, could have kept it, could have thrown it. So you've seen 3 things off one play. Let's get back to the action. We're in tray off. It's really not tray off. It's really tray hip. All right, now they're going to
Bump it back to the formation we just drew. Working to the combination up top. This is where Bo Nix is good. This is where Bo Nix saves you. I don't think 49's catching Bo Nix. Now, they'll probably put that ball maybe at the, the 10. But that's what Bo Nix can give you. That right there, they're going to call it a touchdown. I believe that was a touchdown. That was a good run by Bo. I don't think 49's getting there. Let's see. Science says you are not getting there. You're not getting there. Good job, Bo, keeping it in. Now, 24 probably would have clocked him, to be honest with you. 24 probably would have clocked him. Wouldn't have been surprised. But do we have any questions over there, Blaine?
Yeah, so we got a question from Nola Trey. The rating out of 1 out of 10 wise, what do you feel like the offensive play calling's been?
I'd say a 7.5 or 8. I like it.
You're only going to see a certain amount.
Yeah, and again, this isn't going to be truly called like a real game. They're going to save a lot of stuff, but out of the base stuff, I like the personnels. I like the way the tight ends have been involved, and they're going to put it at the 5 here. Reverse, pass to Bo, throw it, and a little trickeration there. A little trickeration, really good job. Let's see if Auburn was in man as a defensive guy. If you're ever going to have a trick play like that run against you, please let it be against man. Because against zone, everybody's eyes are, freaking out. The guys over here, it looks totally different. But in man, a lot of times your eyes are locked on that guy and you can feel that quarterback float. I always say, if it smells funny, it stinks. Trust your instinct. I like that play call there, especially where it's at. You don't typically see where it's at. We're 2nd and goal here from the 5. I think we're going to get a run. Yep. Another zone run. Great effort by Shivers. Good job on the backside there by 18 keeping. And again, Auburn's came down 16, Auburn's been down tight in the red zone twice. You got to be able to punch these in. I really like that play call. And again, we thought we might see some trickery early. We see it down there by the goal line. And we're going to get a timeout here, I believe.
So a little J.J. Pegues on defense right there.
I know.
Yeah, moving well.
Yeah. Make sure, Blake, keep an eye on him, too. I'm trying to watch it more from a formation standpoint. But do we got any more questions over there? Are we solid right now?
We got one question from Brennan Clay. He says, is it just me, Jake, or is Bo leaving the pocket at the correct times? It seems that clock might have slowed down a little bit in his head.
Brennan, I think you are correct. That's the main thing that I've been watching. And you can notice, too, when he's scrambling now, there's a lot more space because he's not doing it too early where everything isn't dictated yet or routes haven't been ran or teams that are in man, guys don't have their back turned yet. He's leaving at the right time. There's been a couple plays, in my opinion, where I think he actually stayed in there too long, which who'd have thought that, with Bo Nix. So I think it's a great question, and yes is the answer. Yeah.
We have a question from the elect. Do you see Garrett getting any reps at QB?
I hope so. That was asked earlier. I'm ready to see somebody outside of Grant Loy. To be honest with you, there's got to be a guy behind that'll have a chance. Let's see who we got in here right now. And it's still Bo. We still got the first team offense. I thought maybe they snuck somebody in there for some package. But 28 seconds, 3rd and goal. This is where you make your money. I'm guessing we're getting a throw here. Probably down here to the field. Probably long. Let's see it. Get it to him. That's a dart. I'm telling you, Elijah Canyon is a guy that they're going to rely on. And again, this is what happens, people, when you have route combinations. When you don't just tell a guy run a 2 route or run a 4 route. You're doing stuff for a reason. You saw the motion. They opened up the back part. Now, to me, I believe that was designed for Kobe Hudson, the third guy kind of in that cluster right there. Well, if they'll show it again, it'd be pretty cool. Because, again, you got that flow. And look at Bo Nix. Look at how much more in control and poised that Bo Nix is on the sideline. Even during the good times, he's not freaking out. That's the Mike Bobo effect, people. That's the Mike Bobo effect. We've had all these guys on the show talking about, will Bo Nix take the next step and this, that, and the other. Just calm and poised. You get your sprint out is what it is. They were trying to pick for Kobe Hudson right there, but that's a really good job by the linebackers shutting it down. They looked from wide to inside, and really nice ball. Really good hands by Elijah Canyon.
You gotta love that early connection from Bo to Elijah Canyon already.
Yep, and you're kind of – it's amazing how in the spring game with the new coach and new receivers, you really find out who the quarterback wants to throw to and who have you seen. Elijah Canyon. And a lot of the balls to Elijah haven't been designed screens where this guy's getting the ball. What you've seen to Kobe has been designed. What you've seen to Javarius outside of one play has been designed in the jet sweep. Really the non – this ball is going here, really, no matter what plays you've seen go to Elijah Canyon and you've seen go to the tight end, which still feels weird coming out of my mouth actually saying that about Auburn. So we got 24 seconds until halftime. Make sure you get those questions in at halftime. We're not going anywhere. Going to get another kickoff. Let's see if we got a field or a boundary return here. We've got a boundary return.
There's Tank.
Tank Bigsby running it again. I mean, he's a weapon. Good luck. In no world will 86 ever tackle Tank Bigsby. In no world would that ever happen. You could put them on the field 100 times together, and that kid would never tackle him. All right, so let's see what Auburn's going to do here with 24 seconds. And the backups on offense in. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's see if Hudson takes a chance here. Maybe run one screen play, see if you get something. Maybe a deep comeback, try and get it to midfield, try and steal 3. Let's see how he goes about it. I'm always very interested in seeing, new coaches' approach to certain situations. Breakout candidate, Tank Bigsby. Wow, way to really go out on a limb there, guys. So, again, just what I've seen, I like it. It hasn't been overly crazy. Bo looks a lot more comfortable. How many balls have you seen him throw and you're like, oh, no, like right when it leaves his hand? As opposed to last year when it was, like a 3-ring circus just running around and throwing the ball up and hoping Seth Williams just go gadget robot arms it and they're able to get a first down. But again, the demeanor on the sideline just looks different. Guys look to me like they're just not trying to get through it. They're actually enjoying it. Oh, I like where they put the ball here. For Vert. Oh, no, we got to come back up top. Good little route there. Oof. Ooh. A lot of pain in those eyes. Thought we were going to get Vert, convert it to the comeback. Now, that may be a leverage convert. Sometimes guys are taught, hey, if you're out leveraged or they're playing over the top of you, just sit it down, and we'll get it to you. We got true doubles here. Let's see if Grant Lloyd can create. Creates about 4.5 yards. Really wish he'd kind of hung on to that longer. Felt like he had some more time in the pocket. Let the clear out guy clear him out and see what you got. Tank Bigsby talking to Elijah Canyon. I think both those guys are going to make a lot of plays. Go out on a limb. Breakout candidate. Let's see. We got 13 seconds. Not bad there. Setting up for what looks like a shot maybe and a field goal. Not a ton of time left. 9 seconds. About 18 to 20 yards out. You may have time to float one down the river and see if you can't catch something here. Looks like an even front, over front. Gonna take a shot here. Oh! Little back shoulder action, good coverage. Roger McCreary, you're throwing at Roger.
I've got a question from Danny Archer here.
Go ahead.
And it's a serious question. How has the D-line looked in terms of alignment? He said it was a huge problem in the Tennessee game last year.
Danny, that's a great question. They've kept it simple. You saw some 3 down. You saw some 0. They ran it over. I would say to me, it seemed pretty balanced. I think they've lined up right. They've done a good job adjusting to the motions, Danny, which is something that as a defensive guy, you want your team to understand how to adjust to everything that they're seeing. And that's why you see a ton of motions in the NFL. Guys are trying to not only find out what coverage other people are in, but they're trying to get somebody to bust or somebody to screw up. So I think from an alignment standpoint with the tight ends, because with the tight end on the end of the line, it creates another gap. You got to know how to adjust to that. So, Danny, I thought they've been pretty good. I think Derek Mason's kept it simple, and it seems to me like they've got the right personnel in the right places.
I've got a question from Brian Robinson. He says, can they hide Tank's helmet at halftime so he doesn't have to get in anymore?
Yeah, if it's me, I'd hide his whole uniform. I may hide him. I don't know. I think Tank's shown you enough. I think we all know what Tank Bigsby can give you. And you know, to me, I don't think he has anything left to prove. And get some other guys some spin. We've seen Sean Shivers, obviously. And again, you know, we got some young guys coming in. Auburn does. Jarquez Hunter. You look down the list. Want to see Devin Barrett. You know, we saw the kid out of Pinson. His name escapes me. Let me find it. Jay Sharp, number 44, running with Grant Lloyd. Wonder if you're going to see some of that in the second half. But, you know, looking at it, I think it's gone. You know, I don't want to jinx anything. It's gone very smooth. I think a lot of people understand where I'm going in that from a personnel and health standpoint, which is always big. But isn't it amazing? And I'll be surprised to see how much under center they go in the second half. We've seen some. You tested it out. I think Bo's looked good in his drops. I think he's looked good off play action, which to me, that's the whole shebang when it comes down to it. You know, it's not just about being able to get the center exchange. You got to be able to do stuff after that as well. So I thought he's looked pretty smooth.
I got a question here from Corey Greek. In the secondary, we're obviously pretty dang good. But who do you think will be the next shutdown solid corner for Auburn?
You know, yeah, I guess you say the next that takes Roger McCreary out. I'm a big Jalen Simpson guy. I thought Jalen last year really stepped up as a young guy. I think he can be a shutdown corner. I like how physical he is. Outside of Roger, you know, looking at the roster, Marco Damio's a guy that they were high on out of junior college. Kamal Haddon comes in and forces a fumble on Tank Bigsby. From a coverage standpoint, I got to see a little more of him. So I think Jalen Simpson, I'm really high on him. And obviously, don't forget about Drayshawn Miller, who's coming in from West Virginia too in the summer. All right, don't look past him. He's the guy that's going to have a chance to come in and win a job.
Got a question here from the elect. Everyone knows the O-line underperformed last year. Do you see Bobo scheming around their deficiencies till they improve as the season goes along?
Yeah, it's a great question, and a lot of what I've seen so far has lent to me believing that they don't know if the offensive line personnel is good enough to line up and run the power down your throat or run the counter. You've seen nothing but what? Zone. I mean, we haven't even seen split zone. It's been mid-zone, inside zone. Saw a couple plays, I believe, of outside zone. A few times the camera was a little fast from this angle. But when you're sitting there and you're running zone, and you have a guy like Mike Bobo who's run zone, who's run gap scheme, and we know the difference: zone, inside zone, outside zone, gap scheme, power counter, pulling, stuff like that. Teams that run a lot of – there's a reason why teams that don't have great O-lines run a lot of zone. Why? Because it's easier to block. Why is it easier to block? Because it can hit in different places. The power is supposed to hit really in 1 to 2 spots, really in one spot. The counter's the same way. Trucks with the double pulls, the GT is the same way. Now, you can have the puller log the end. You can have the puller kick out the end, but it's really going to hit in the same spot. In the zone, whether it be inside, whether it be outside, whether it be mid-zone, it can hit in multiple spots, which means a guy can lose, and a gap can still be open because you're making the defense move. You're making the picture move. And you can stop the picture and go outside of the picture or underneath the picture at any point in time. So I think they're trying to hide him a little bit with all this zone run.
Got a question here from Michael Robler. Was the offense what you expected in the first half?
Yeah. You know, again, when I say expect, to me, I was expecting more from a formational standpoint. You know, what you're going to see. They've been pretty base in the formations, but from an identity standpoint, from a philosophy standpoint, I have. It's been a lot of what I expected. Heavier personnels, play action off those heavier personnels. You've seen that their route concepts be a little more intricate. I would like to see a little more of the passing game and a few more of the route combinations. But again, they're not going to show the whole world everything that they've been working on. You've seen some comeback. I thought the screen game has been nice. I like the flow of it, to answer your question.
Got a question here from Brendan Clay. Is there still some guys coming in the portal and or incoming freshmen that will help with depth at the running back and offensive line position?
I think you're going to see Auburn make a play on some guys from the FCS, especially at the tackle position on the offensive line. And again, the guys have been pretty decent today, but I don't see them being able to hold up against the elite pass rushers in this league. From a running back standpoint, I don't think so. I'm wondering, and again, he may be injured and I may not know it. Devin Barrett, wanted to watch him to see if he'd provide some depth, but they need another one, or you've got to count on a freshman.
We got a question here from Renard Williams. He says, haven't seen any of the stretch play.
I know. That's one thing. A lot of it has pretty much all of it has been inside zone, mid zone. They've changed the way you saw the speed sweep. We've seen some of the zone read. We've seen a little RPO, but there has not been true stretch. Not really, to be honest with you, not a ton of perimeter run game at all outside of the quarterback keeping it on the zone read. You saw the RPO off the screen action to the boundary. But, yeah, Renard, it's kind of surprised me a little bit, especially with Shivers. I thought that's what you were going to see. I thought they were going to give Tank the inside zone, give him some outside zone, give him some gap scheme, and give Shivers a lot of the perimeter runs, tosses, stuff of that nature. But, yeah, they've really kind of kept the perimeter run game close to the vest way more than I thought.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a question here from Dylan Posey. How's the tight ends looking, in your opinion?
I think they've looked really good. And I watch them blocking first. And I'm watching them base block on this zone, and they're doing a good job of hat placement, hand placement. They're getting underneath guys, which is tough for these taller tight ends, these bigger tight ends, to be able to get underneath guys and root them out there. It's funny, we haven't released it yet, but got a great interview with Gary Barnage, all-pro tight end from the Browns, and he said that's the hardest thing to do is be the tight end that's in the hip, off the ball, and have to replace that tackle and get underneath that end because they can beat you to the spot. But I really think the footwork from the tight ends has been really good in the blocking. They've caught everything that's thrown at them. I'm watching them try and get off some of these reroutes, which for bigger tight ends is tough because the little guys want to get underneath you. They want to kind of beat you up a little bit. And I think Fromm's a little more advanced than Deal is right now. But another thing you got to look at from the tight ends, it hasn't just been from a formation standpoint, they've been on the line of scrimmage or in the hip or in the B, as we used to call it, or in the spot where they're kind of almost playing where a fullback or H-back, whatever you want to call it, is they've been split out. They've been on the ball as number two. And what that does is it creates a matchup problem for you as a defensive guy. You could have a great cover nickel. You could package it and say, all right, we're going to put our third corner in there. It's 3rd and 7. But that size difference, especially in the red zone, can be all the difference when it comes to catching the ball. You can be all over a guy, but he can just big boy you. It's like trying to box out a guy and get a rebound. And at the end of the day, you can be in the best position, but if he's 7'1", he's probably going to get the rebound.
Do you think with Elijah Cannon, his height, and this is length in general, that in the red zone we're going to see some fade balls?
Wouldn't surprise me. As a defensive guy, I love when people run the fade.
Yeah.
Especially at the 1 or when it's close like that, because I feel like we have a better chance of stopping that than stopping you getting 1 yard in the run. But, yeah, I think you'll see it from Elijah. What I think you'll see a lot of, too, and this is something Hudson does in the red zone, on 3rd and goal when it's a passing down, is get a lot of sprint out. Auburn's touchdown they just scored was on a sprint out play. So you may get some, hey, we're going to go trips and put the one guy over here and everybody in the stadium knows the fade is coming, but you'll also get some sprint out. And it's not just working the pick play where you're trying to get underneath. That was a good job, like I said, of going on the touchdown pass to Elijah Canyon, going from wide to inside, because you always have that trailer. It's almost like a trailer in basketball shooting the 3. That's a great question.
Got a question here from Isaiah Moore. He says, I think the wide receiver group has the farthest to come. Outside of our top 2, we have no worthy starting wideouts. What's your opinion on the wideout group so far?
They've been very selective in who they've given the ball to. It's really centered around Javarius, Kobe Hudson, and Elijah Canyon, obviously. But I've liked the way they've worked it around. There's going to have to be some more guys step up. You look at Zebian Capers. They threw a ball to Landon King. the freshman who I think is a flex Y. I don't think you just call him a tight end or whatever. But no, I've been pretty impressed. They still need more depth. You've seen Kalen Newton get a catch earlier. He's a guy that's going to have to contribute. There's no silver ball or magic bullet that's going to come in at the wide receiver position. They're just going to have some young guys continue to step up. But this offense is going to be built around, from a receiving standpoint, Javarius Johnson, Elijah Canyon, and Kobe Hudson.
And see, that's where the tight ends come in so big.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, because I think Auburn fans now are just trying to think, all right, the guys that are going to catch balls are going to be the receivers. How many good receivers do we have? And you wouldn't be wrong from what you've seen in the past couple of years that's been the case. So again, at the end of the day, it's just you have a new position group that can help.
I got a question here from the elect. You say Coach Hudson brings strength and conditioning back to Auburn with Pittman. How much catch up will it be for the newcomers, especially missing spring workouts?
If you're talking about the freshmen coming in, they give them the workout that they're doing now. It's impossible for them to do it as well without the strength coach being there, and they're obviously going to be a little bit behind physically unless you're just a freak show. But for the guys that miss spring ball that are already on the roster, it's devastating. Losing that semester from a strength and conditioning point is devastating because you're already behind the 8 ball, and your body's got to get right, especially for the grind that the season is. So while the freshmen will be behind, I think there's a few guys that may be able to make an impact and be able to overcome that. But I love the hire of Jeff Pittman. I think it was probably one of the best, if not the best hire that Brian Harsin made.
And it's just it almost brings an entirely different culture to Auburn, especially what we've been missing the last couple of years, which we feel like is physicality. Guys,
how do you get bigger?
Fun.
You throw a lot of heavy-ass weight around.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Physics is physics. But I also want to tell everybody, I hope you're enjoying this. This is great. We're going to do this during the fall, so get ready for it. Tell everybody about it. Make sure everybody's subscribed. If you want to donate, our Venmo's Jacob-Crane-3. Our PayPal's at the J-Boy Show. Either way, we appreciate you joining us. This is something we're going to continue to do, like I said, during the fall. Going to be for the Auburn game and a game of the week that we pick outside of that, maybe a couple games of the week, to really just give you a different perspective on what I'm seeing, especially with all the brand new stuff from Brian Harsin in the offense. But Bo Nix looks so much more composed to me, Blaine. What do you think?
No, I agree. It feels good not seeing him running from shadows, and you can tell that clock is just slowed down in his head, and that's where the play action is so big.
Yeah.
You see that one play action they had earlier, they didn't hit it, but the timing in his head, and he just looks calm, and when Bo Nix is calm, that's when he's at his best.
I agree.
Because things just slow down for him, and I think you can kind of see with the timing of the screens, people need to realize how big timing is when it comes to screens, and you can tell how comfortable he is in the pocket just by the timing off those plays.
Yeah, I agree, and if it shows you that there's a chemistry there too, because a lot of times the screen game, especially the receivers, isn't just timing for the quarterback and the receivers. It's timing for the quarterback, the receivers, and the offensive line. It's a production. It's a Broadway play. You have your different actors in the different groups. Well, Tank looks like he's playing in the second half. He looks like he's playing. What do you think?
I hope not. I hope not. I already didn't like him on kick return, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just don't. Why? I just don't understand. Just let him play running back. See if he needs some Gatorade, whatever he needs.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure he's okay, because that's the last guy. I don't even want to even bring it up or mentioning something. He's just the last guy that needs to be on special teams.
Put that in the universe.
I'm taking it away now, but I just hate seeing. I like him seeing him at one place, running back position. I wouldn't mind just seeing him with a headset on for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I just see him call some plays. Man.
Yeah,
I bet they're all run plays.
I bet he's good at that too.
Yeah, but I think it was a great point too about the strength and conditioning coach. I mean, Auburn. There's some spots where Auburn, the guys already look way bigger.
Really don't have a question here, but more of a statement from Brendan Clay, and I completely agree. He says, I'm loving the body language and the energy from the players.
Yeah.
They look like they're actually having fun.
Yeah, isn't it different? You remember last year, breakdown of the South Carolina game, how miserable everybody looked on Auburn's roster? Now you look, and again, we know it's a spring game, and nerves aren't nearly where they're going to be, but the guys look like, it's not like everybody's smelling a fart or something. That's what it looked like last year. Like everybody in the sidelines smelling a fart. That's what it looked like. Or people were mad at each other. It's intense. It's the craziest 60 minutes ever, especially when you're on the sidelines, but it still has to be fun for the guys. And winning is fun. Doing good is fun. But being prepared and knowing you're prepared gives you the ability to have fun. As you see Brian Harsin being interviewed right now, wearing the Terminator 2 glasses, staring down opponents, eviscerating anything in his way. And this is a guy from Boise. He's born in Boise, played quarterback at Boise, was the head coach at Boise. And you think, it's his dream job to be at Boise. Decided to come down to Auburn to see what he's made of. I respect that. I think it shows you how competitive he is, just as a person, especially in this state, especially with what Alabama's had going on as well.
I'm going to shoot this question at you. The elect, he said, development of the new football facility will have a shock waves for recruiting coming for the years to come. What do you feel like that will help Auburn, just in general, bringing guys in?
Oh, yeah. Well, perception is reality, and it's an arms race. It's like the USA and the Russians during the Cold War for space. It's an arms race. Who has the nicest stuff is going to get the nicest players typically. And we all know that the biggest selling point for Auburn are the visits. And adding a outstanding facility to that field at Auburn is only going to increase it. And I think you're going to see it, pay dividends. It's already paid dividends in basketball. We've seen with the new arena. Shout out Walker Kessler. And we're going to see it pay dividends, in my opinion, from recruiting at Auburn as well. And everybody freaks out, right now. The recruiting is what it is. You're going to get some 3 stars, going to get some 4. But I think Brian Harsin, he's going to do it his way. He's going to trust his evaluation. But don't be surprised, especially if they do a couple things this year, that you don't start seeing a few of those 5 stars sneak in there.
Hey, you can always call Bruce Pearl.
You can always call Bruce Pearl.
Let's call Bruce.
Get him in there.
Yeah.
Get him in there. So what do you think about the basketball team, Blaine, getting Walker Kessler, huh?
Well, I feel
It's
really.
a tree festival.
I feel really good about it.
Yeah, it's a tree
when you go
festival.
through the top 5, I'm excited. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, him and Javarius Smith next to each other, it's a tree festival.
Yeah, it's scary. I'd be scared.
Yeah. So let's see if there's any changes in the second half here.
Maybe a little Demetrius Davis. Maybe a little bit. See him.
Yeah, maybe. Gonna send a tweet here. Hadn't checked the Twitter. Obviously been exploding. And on. Here we go. Gonna get a little kickoff to start.
Corey Greek says, out with the visors and sweater vests and in with the Terminator glasses, I'll allow it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't know John Connor took the job. We'll take it, though. It's a pretty good track record. Make sure, too, guys, tell everybody, if you're enjoying this live stream, tell everybody come hop over here, subscribe. It's something we're going to do during the fall. Heck, we may do it during the draft. I don't know. Pop some bubbly or something like that. Going to put out a mock draft next week from SEC guys where I think they're going to go. Make sure you check out. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube as well. Check out our sponsors, betonline.ag, sundayscaries.com. Use the JBoy promo code. You save 25%. That's JBOY. Best CBD company out there. Monsterbass.com. Their subscription bait and tackle service. Use the JBoy10, so JBoy10 promo code there. You get $10 off your first box. They've got great baits. They know where you're at, whether you're fishing top water, whether you're fishing below, bass, crappie, however you get down, check out monsterbass.com. And as always, ebay.com/sneakers. Got the Scout kickoff team again. Looks like we got a Carlson brother, one of the Nordics in here. There we go. The short kickoff, never a fan of it. Everybody get away. Run away. Get away from him. Again, the way it's looking, you may see Tank Bigsby run some kicks back this fall. I mean, I think he's done every one of them but one. All right, here we go. Going to have the first group offense. See Coach Bedell over there getting everything, the orchestra getting everything ready. So he's got a nice little swag of bubble gum in there, I guess we can call it. Looks like you're going to get a heavier personnel. Again, I mean, Auburn's only gone 10 personnel a couple times. Again, that's one back, no tight ends. Here we go. That's how they take the field. Make sure everybody's jogging to get lined up. Talking to the center, making sure everything's right. Stop freaking out. Here we go. And you're going to get formation in the boundary again here. So you're going to get the run fake off of it. They're going to give it. Right there. That's Sean Shiver's game. We actually got, and again, you don't want to get shoestring tackled. We got a little perimeter run right there. There's little Renard. Where are you at? Little perimeter run there. It had some inside zone flavor at the beginning, but you could see how it kind of sprung out. They went formation in the boundary. They're going to go Trey here, 3-by-1 with the tight end. Trey off. We see the tight ends off. You're going to get inside zone again here. Not a bad run by Shivers. And again, still zone. Have not seen any gap scheme. And look. C89 right there. Looks weird with them on defense.
Guy looks good, though.
Yeah. Oh, he looks like he belongs. 3rd and 2. Going to get the same play. Going to get inside zone again. Wow, really good job by the interior. Auburn didn't look like they were lined up front, and I guarantee you Auburn's going to go for this. I think you get J.J. Pegues and switch him on the side of the ball right now. I'd put him over there on offense, let him run downhill. Little fullback ISO.
Mr. Do-It-All.
They're going to go at it again. I like it. First down. And, I think you're going to see Tank Bigsby look a lot like Madison from Boise State, who's with the Vikings now. Their running styles really aren't similar, but their build is similar to me. And watching him running Boise State's offense, they look really similar to me. Here's your play action. They wanted to take the shot, and we got a miscommunication. That or a throwaway. Which, if that was a throwaway, growth, Bo. Growth.
I got a question here from the Lex, and I know we kind of hit on it earlier, but how do you feel about JJ moving to the D-line, and do you assume it was due for the tight end depth or need a D-line because when Wright went down with the ACL?
Yeah, I think two things can be true at once. I think it could be the right move for him from a career standpoint, but when Wright went down with the ACL, they had to find some depth, and that's a guy who everybody's talked about having the ability to play defense. So, yes to both of those questions. Oh, we got a little bunch tight. Out of 11. See if you don't get a drag from up top here. Play action. You're getting the over. Find him. Didn't look like a terrible ball. Called that one from the beginning. Whenever you see as well that tight split, and it's not because it's into the boundary, a lot of times that's because guys are running the drag, are running the over, and they're trying to cut down the space so they can get to the spot on the other side of the ball quicker. And that's what you saw right there. That ball kind of came out of Bo's hands funny. Oh, you see 3rd and 10. And watch, if they go 11 personnel, let's see if the tight end stays in the block. That's going to tell you about the confidence that this coaching staff has in the offensive line. Got him in the hip up there. He's going to run a route. It's a good throw and catch there. You got to get to the stick, though. Got to know where the stick is. That's why he's. Let's see, you got a cramp, or is it a calf? And he's all right. It's a calf. Now he's going to grab the hemi a little bit. Typically, when you tweak it, you're not able to move around like that on it. 4th and 2. Watch this. They're going to line up in 11 personnel. They've ran inside zone a couple times. I would be willing to bet you they run a little either play action off the inside zone, or it turns into a zone read with the keep, or Bo just may keep it. Let me see the formation here. You may get toss. See if we get any motion. Got to kid it out. That's a great play. Let's see, 44. That is Lee Hunter. True freshman Lee Hunter from Blount High School with the big stop. Telling you, this guy was very highly rated coming out of high school. Very highly rated coming out of high school with a big stop right there. The play call, to me, I'd like to go see it again. It looked like they were trying to wash everybody. It kind of looked like they had him out leveraged to the field. It just wasn't able to get out there. I'd love to see a replay. It'd be a pretty cool situation if y'all could show us the replay. But Lee Hunter, Mobile native, making his presence known. Doing a good job from the interior defensive line spot. And look, he's a guy that's going to make some plays as a young guy. I'm interested to see how he is as a pass rusher from that interior position. But a really good play there. Big stop there for the defense. And look, Harson's, it's been 4th and short a couple times. He hasn't played any games. They've just lined up and ran it, trying to find out, who's going to be about it when it counts. So big confidence builder there for not only Lee Hunter, but for the defense as well. And here we go. Is this Demetrius Davis? Let me see. Let me check my roster. It is Demetrius Davis, true freshman, early enrollee quarterback out of Texas. A lot of accolades for this guy. Let's see if the offense changes a little bit here. Let's see if you get some more zone read RPO here. I want to see him again. He's not a huge guy. All right, you've got him in 11 personnel. He's going to give it there. All right. Again, just your typical zone play. He did have the ability to keep. Good job there by Owen Papo. Getting inside and making the play. But this is some good experience. I'm surprised he didn't keep that first one. A lot of times when guys want to keep that first one, they don't care about the read. They just want to keep it and get some spin. All right, formation. We've seen a lot from Auburn here. Trey off. Backs away. Let's see him throw it here. Here he goes. Here he goes. That's what he can do. That's what he can do. If the first read's not there, which to me, if you look down to the boundary, he had the hitch. When they go back and watch the film, Mike Bobo's going to tell him, hey, you need to throw this ball here.
A quick question from Brendan Clay. Is it normal for a running back to be that far behind the QB in single back?
Yes. Yeah. Is he talking about pistol?
Yeah.
Or is he talking about
under center?
Under center. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Now, that'll change. Sometimes watch the NFL, how many times those depth change. Sometimes that can be a tendency. Looks like we got an even front here. We got 11 personnel. Little inside zone. And somebody just tackled Austin Troxell. That was a great Gator tackle there by 45. You see him dapping him up a little bit. Tackled the wrong guy. That's all right. But we're in 2nd and 8 here. Auburn's in 2nd and 8. Would not be surprised if you saw a quarterback draw here or some sort of quarterback run, maybe Q power. They haven't shown that yet. Going under center here. Do you get boot here? Is it boot here? Oh, you better get rid of it. I don't think they touched him.
That's pretty nice.
You got to blow it dead. You got to blow it dead, but I don't think they touched him. Let's see who blew the protection. Look, Smoke knows. Smoke knows. Look, when the older guys are treating a younger guy like that, you know they know. Show the replay. Here you go. Got 3rd and long. Screen or draw here. Screen or draw here. You always hear it. Defensive coordinator screaming out screen or draw. He's going to take a shot. Tell you what.
Not a bad ball.
Not a bad ball at all. Demetrius Davis, again, you don't want to be in 4th and 16 and stuff like that, but, I mean, that ball came out of his hand a lot better than what I assumed it would be. And a good stop there by the defense. Auburn kind of opened it up a little bit there with Demetrius. A little bit different than what you've seen. And again, I don't think they touched him on that one.
I mean, if
what
it's
do you think, they touch him?
No. If it's me on that, I mean, you're already the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart.
You're already
Congratulations.
Congrats, you're the number 2.
You're the number 2
now,
guy.
Again, we haven't been in there and seen it. Seen how he's read it and stuff like that. So I'm very interested to see if he gets some more scratch, what they give him. But you got your normal spread punt here, 3-man shield. Make sure you get the ball off. Good ball there.
Kind of taking you back for the drive before Demetrius Davis with Bo Nix. 2nd and 10, they run the boot. This is kind of thing that got me with Bo Nix is, you have the tight end on the check down. You had the tight end. 3rd and 4 is a lot easier than 3rd and 10. But if you're going to make that pass, you gotta make that throw.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I mean, and it's something too where, I'm sitting here watching this offense, and they aren't using the tight ends to chip or help protect. Very rarely. I mean, these guys are out in routes or it's a run. So that tells me they got a little more faith in the offensive line than what I would have thought with the personnel they had. Now, does that mean the offensive line's good? No, that's not what I'm saying. But we'll see. So is it 17-3? Auburn is beating the Tigers. Here we go. We're going to get our motion out here, see if they're going to stack it. Pretty much.
Screen.
Yep. Here he goes. So, nice little screenplay. The motion, what did you want the motion to do? Take everybody's eyes outside and think it's a what? Screen to the outside. Because what has Auburn done? Every time they've motioned that tight end, now it's been to the boundary pretty much. It's been a wide screen. Now they hit you with the slip screen from the running back. I like that play call. Let's see, you're going to get... Oh, you actually got a little gap scheme. You actually got a little gap scheme right here. Please show the replay. You saw the wrapper coming around. Finally got a little gap scheme here. Open it up a little bit here in the waning moments of the 3rd quarter. You get your jet sweep action. That wasn't an orbit. And you get a little bit of zone scheme. Let's see what we got here. Trey off. They love this formation. Backs away from the strength. Oh, man. 68. That was not very good. Not bad there. Trying to get the ball out to number 40. We'll give you that number here in 1 second. That is Landon King, the freshman, but totally blown. Not blown blocking assignment. You just got beat. That looked like, was that Keandre Jones, I believe? Keandre Jones? Maybe wrong on that. but just got his head out and over his feet. 3rd and 5. Trey off. Same formation. Now the back's to the strength. Let's see if you get a motion here from the tight end.
Gotta love Cannon up top here.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Oh, here you go. A little more gap scheme. Like that play call.
Great
Again,
play call.
you see the pull, the wrap action. It's not split zone. It's not split zone where you're splitting the line of scrimmage to go kick like we saw a ton last year. All right, it's not inside zone. All right, it's not just a couple combos in a zone. Kind of mixing it up here. That's a good call on 3rd down. They did run it a couple plays before. Keep that play in your memory. Keep that play in your memory because that's a bread and butter play for these guys. All right, Trey off again. Backs away from the strength. What have we seen here? Seen a lot of run. Going to get your play action. And listen, that was an incomplete pass, but did you see Bo Nix freak out in the pocket? No. He went progression, last progression. 2nd and 10 is so much better than an interception or 2nd and 15. It's not what you want, but that's basically a check down throw. That's what that was, and that's what we talked about. Let's see what we get here. Going to get 11 personnel. This is Trey closed. Or trips closed, however you want to call it. Got a busted assignment. Got to get down. Got to get down because now you're in trouble. Got a busted assignment up front. May have brought somebody they didn't think they were going to bring, but typically on a zone play, that should never happen. You're responsible for your zone. You're responsible for what comes into the zone.
Chris Thompson Jr. is looking good so far.
He is. I like the kid. He was out of position on the touchdown run.
Yeah.
That's the one blemish. But again, you're not perfect.
I mean, if anybody does it and it's Tank Bigsby, I understand.
Yeah. They got a little 3 down. Look at Auburn right here. This is your 3 down look. They've got 4. They've got the stand up there. You could say it's an even front. That looked like it was a 0 to me. Looks like you got a 5, a shade, a 3, and a wide 5. See 2's on the ball down the bottom. See what you get. Wanted to take a shot. That was overthrown. Overthrown there. 3rd and 16. A lot of people expecting screen. Defense can kind of play back. You see Bo Nix. Let's see his body language here. He was shaking his head. Maybe not on the same page with the receiver. The receivers want the guys to stop playing so far off of him. He said, well, don't get in 3rd and 16 then. Let's see what we got here from Brian Harsin. 2 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Into the 3rd quarter. They're going to let it go ahead and bleed out. Nothing crazy that quarter. You got to see Demetrius Davis a little bit. Very interested to see if they use him in any packages. I always found it interesting when you got a quarterback with that running ability and you bring him out there with the same offensive line. It's a totally different guy that you're blocking for. So you got to make sure you marry those up. You got to make sure everybody understands that, hey, this is a guy the play's going to keep extending. Not only the receivers in the scramble drill, they got to understand the play's going to extend, but the offensive linemen got to know the play's going to extend and guys are going to try and get off of them. Well, your first natural reaction is to grab and pull somebody because you think the quarterback's in the funnel, not so much with Demetrius Davis. So, again, from a play calling standpoint, saw a few different things there. Actually saw a little bit of gap scheme for the first time all game. Be interested to see if we see any more. I think they're kind of playing the run game close to the vest. Now, it's either one of 2 reasons. 1, they don't want to show a bunch, or 2, they don't think the offensive line is good enough to be able to handle running multiple things, and they've just got to be good at a couple things.
I got a question here from Danny Archer. He says, is offensive play calling at A-Day more about building on a foundation or being competitive and getting guys into a groove?
That's a great question. To me, because a lot of the spring game for guys that you're still evaluating is you want to see the fundamentals of how good they are at the base stuff that you're running. So obviously these guys want to win. Obviously, if you're on the Auburn team, you want to win. If you're on the Tigers team, you want to win. If you're coaching either one of those teams, you want to win or calling the plays. But it's a fine line between not doing too much to where you're showing too much or the guys can't play fast and trying to get your guys into a rhythm a lot more offensively than defensively because Auburn hasn't run a ton of different stuff defensively today. You've seen them mix it up a little bit for the front 7 and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. So to me, it is truly about evaluating the guys you have left, but you also want that quarterback and the guys that are out there, and I'm speaking offensively, to kind of understand you a little bit as a play caller and be on the same page with you. So to me, it's about building rhythm, but it's truly about an evaluation.
What do you think Derek Mason as a defensive coordinator is going to kind of bring into Auburn, especially the new looks, but just the new culture and what he's going to kind of change about the offense defense, especially from a physicality standpoint last year?
Yeah, I think they're going to play more physical. I think you're going to see more package stuff. I think you're going to see Auburn have the ability to mix up more man and zone than they did last year. They were really man-heavy. You wouldn't see them change personnel a lot. Now, they'd match people because you have to, but I think you're going to see Derek Mason do it more, move more guys around. I think mixing that 3 down and that 4 down changes the way that teams attack you from how they prepare. Now you're having to prepare for the whole kitchen instead of just the counter and the microwave. And that's something. And also what I like about Derek Mason is from a technique standpoint. I think you're going to see Auburn be better tacklers. I think you're going to see less misassignment, better alignment. Auburn was bad at lining up last year. They were just bad at lining up. They couldn't get lined up, and I don't think you're going to see that with this regime. So here we go. Auburn's back out. Let's see if this is Demetrius at quarterback. It is. Going to get a play action. They're going to let the kid eat. They're going to let him eat. And that's a dime. Wow. That's a hell of a throw from a pup right there. That's a hell of a throw from a pup. Again, back staying in to help protect. Look, you can't throw the ball better than that. You can't throw the ball better than that. Did he drop that? Let's see if he finished all the way through the catch. Oh, they're going to give it to him. It's the spring game, man. That's a confidence builder for the quarterback. That's a really good throw there from Demetrius. All right, you got true 10 personnel out here. Here he goes. Ooh. That's the one thing. The orange jersey, they're going to blow it dead. I think he steps through that. But, I mean, that was a freaking dart by Demetrius right there. Again, we've seen his highlight tape. His throwing motion is a little bit different than coming out of high school, which the coaches have changed, which shows you he's a natural thrower of the ball when you can change your motion a little bit and still be accurate. All right, here we go. We got trips. 3-by-1. Let me see if that's a tight end at number 3. There's your little RPO action off it. We saw that a ton, with the bubble screen attached to it. Everybody does that. You're going to have third and passing now. And here is where it gets tricky with a young kid at quarterback. You just had the vertical thrown. Would not be surprised to see a comeback here at the sticks. I think the kid has the arm to throw it to the field. Let's see how Auburn aligns here. True 2-by-2. 2's on the ball. Wow, how about that? And what a great tackle in space. They threw the little spot route to the back. Now you got 4th down and decision time. Got to go for this. If you're the defense, you can't jump. You're screaming, watch the ball, watch the ball, watch the ball. Let's see what they line up in. And, hey, Demetrius, see that ball? He was under center now off that play action. All right, we got 2-by-2. 2's on the ball again. This is the exact same formation we just had. Oh, and he got baited into it. Now, to be honest with you, it looked like the inside receiver took an extra step there on the slant. That ball's got to get there, got to come out a little bit quicker. And that's one that he knows he wants to pick off. But not a bad drive there from the true freshman. Hit a long play, got his confidence up, was right on the check down on the little spot route from the back. And again, it's a progression. It's learning. It's getting a feel for it. It's being able to adjust from not only bad plays that happen, but good plays like that as well. Got to keep your head. And I'll say this. I think he escapes up through the pocket on that one. I don't think they sack him on that one.
Well, I mean, you got to, just being such a young guy, you got to love him first, just being able to see him make that throw.
Oh, yeah.
That is in his arsenal, that he's able to do that. And him to throw the check down when with 3 or 4 guys were in his face. And, some things, you don't have to teach. And guys just, naturally just know. Yeah.
We got a new quarterback here for the next group. This is going to be Trey Lindsey. Number 13, out of Montgomery Academy. Let's see what he's got. See, you're going to get a heavier personnel again. Another zone run. Devin Barrett, a guy that was basically leaving the team, was a 4-star running back coming out of high school. They moved him to DB when he got here. Decided to come back. They moved him to running back. Not bad there. He looks like a running back. Let's see what we got. Not a bad start there for Trey Lindsey when you can hand it off and go ahead and get 20 right there. Going to get Trey off. Auburn has stayed in this formation a lot. It's easy. Pitch and catch. Pitch and catch. It's a nice tackle on the outside there. Elijah Canyon really becoming a go-to guy. Pretty nice play out there defensively to bring him down. Second one. Do you take a shot here? Let's see. Last time Auburn just pounded it. Let's see what you got. Let's see the safety up top. Back to 2x2. Bad ball. Bad ball. Got to get that ball up. That's really the fourth different wide receiver screen we've seen from Auburn with actually motion away that time. We'd seen the tight end motion to the screen with the kick out to go underneath. And again, I'm not in love with that play call on 2nd and 1. I'm not in love with it. I'd rather try something down the field, maybe find a tight end in the seam. You don't want to catch that ball for a screen and get tackled for a 3-yard loss. Now you're in 3rd and 4. You're in 3rd and 1. I think you're going to see the run here. Auburn's got 9 people motioning at the same time. Put him back. Going to get your jet sweep motion and the give. Looks like he got it. Good job getting his head down there. And the thing you can't do defensively, if you're a guy that's on the perimeter, you can't just assume that ball's going up the gut. Because right when you assume that on 3rd and 1, they're going to keep it, they're going to hook you, and it's going to be a touchdown.
You know, we've seen a lot of jet sweep motions, especially under center. Are you think we're going to be seeing that most of the time? And just what does that do to a defense? Because they have to honor that.
Yeah, well, any motion gets you moving. Any motion gets you moving. And when you see it a lot in the NFL, they'll time up where the motion guy is on that jet sweep motion, even on the orbit motion when they snap the ball, because they want to catch you changing your coverage. Because, again, if you go from 2x2 to 3x1 and you motion, that changes the coverage. Now, if you're in man, sometimes you can bump it over. A guy will travel, and that's pretty easy. But in zone, in 2x2, if I'm running quarters in zone, I have my responsibility. They motion and they make it 3x1, whether it's a jet sweep motion, whether it's an orbit motion, any type of motion to make it 3x1. Now we got to make our 3x1 check out of that coverage. So it changes me. It changes my alignment. Sometimes, it'll kind of screw with where the safety is and change the gaps up, and you try and hit him in the run game. So here we go, back to it. Just a true drop here. He's going to take a shot. He's got him. He's got to get the ball up. And again, going to Malcolm Johnson Jr. again, a guy they've tried 3 times now, had the big catch from Demetrius Davis, a reclassification actually, that ended up coming back to Auburn. So you see Bo Nix, 12 of 20 on the day, 112 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty efficient. A guy that protected the ball. I thought he looked more composed. I thought he looked really good under center, dropping back, keeping his eyes down the field. He didn't look rushed as he has. I think the offensive line's performed pretty well as well.
And people don't realize a lot of time when it is that one-on-one battle with the DB, you kind of only get the ending part of it, but how big it is for them to win at the line of scrimmage to even be in that battle late.
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to tell the DBs all the time, you got to win early to win late.
Yeah.
Especially if you're up there jamming a guy. That's why I've never been a fan of the 2-hand jam. You miss these guys at this level.
Are you more of an inside
hand?
hand?
We pop-stepped with the outside foot. All right, Auburn in 11 here. Get a little play action, pop screen there to the wide receiver. It's Will Hastings' twin brother, Bill Hastings. No, I'm just kidding. Again, that's the 5th different wide receiver screen that you've seen. So it's not just the now, it's not just the bubble, it's not just the RPO swing or RPO bubble off your 10 or 11 personnel stuff.
Well, Tommy Naismith, Auburn, Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 3x1. Here we go. Got a new quarterback in. I believe this is Garrett. A lot of running room. Got to stay in your pass rush lanes right there. It's going to be, I believe, on the shade. Got knocked down inside. In the game, that's 15. That's Shayo Garrett. That answers the question. We got 2 of those questions.
Yes. So actually, I'm going to throw this question at you real quick. It's from the elect. Momentum is building up for the Penn State game. Win or lose, can you see Hudson pulling Bo if he struggles early?
I could see Hudson pulling Bo if he struggles early. The only problem is, if Demetrius, can keep providing the spark, that's going to be a hold. It's actually not a terrible ball. You never want to throw across your body. That reminds me a little bit of last year. But, I think Hudson, he's got no, strings attached. I think if he struggles, he's going to pull him. The question is, who do you put in? Right now, to me, just off the little sample size, it's Bo Nix. Then it's Demetrius Davis.
Absolutely. We got a question here from Dominic Summerhill. What do you think of the offense so far? He says, I know it's basic stuff, but still curious of your opinion.
Yeah, I like it. It is base stuff, but, I think they've done enough from a personnel standpoint. I think they've done enough, from moving the ball around from inside out, whether it be the tight ends in the interior, whether it be taking shots down the field, whether it be working the middle. And again, they've had some incompletions to the tight end. I want to see more to the tight end. I want to see more, especially in the red zone. That's one spot I'm surprised a little bit, but I like it. I think it's fresh. I think it has an identity. I don't think you saw nearly as much perimeter run game as you're going to see during the year. I think they did that for a reason. Because thing about being a new guy in a new conference, yeah, there's tape on you, but not with this staff, not the way that you've operated. So there's kind of an unknown. And also, I do real quick, guys, I know the game's winding down, but I'm going to do a quick breakdown of the game, 5 minutes, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But we appreciate you joining us. We got 8 seconds left here. Did the first half of the Alabama game. Been able to do all of this one. We're going to do this during the fall, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it's going to get even more intricate as we get into the fall. So let's see. They're going to take one shot at glory here, and we're going to check it down. 46, you'll never forget it. Never forget it. And that's going to conclude Auburn's spring game. Auburn beats the Tigers 17-3. Real quick, just to sum up what I saw, is a good day. Number one, you had no injuries. That's big. You had Canyon grab his calf one time. He ended up coming back in the game. Bo Nix from the pocket was a lot better. Under center, he was composed. Didn't look crazy on the drops. The timing didn't look off. It looked like he'd been doing it. I thought the timing in his head in the pocket was a lot better. You saw him scramble when he had to scramble. You saw him pick up first downs when he had to pick up first downs. You also saw him throw the ball away. You also saw him throw the check down to the tight end. I like the way the running back was involved in the pass game, not just as a check down, but actually involved in the passing game. The wide receiver screen game was a little more diverse than what I thought. You saw a little bit more on tape with the motioning out for the kick out. Then you had the motion, the stalk and go. Then you actually had a motion away and work in the wide receiver screen. So I did like what I saw from a summation on offense. Looks like who the guys at the receiver are going to be. Elijah Canyon, Kobe Hudson, Javarius Johnson, and that tight end group. They need a couple more guys to step up. I know there are a few guys banged up as well. Defensively, I thought they were pretty base as well, which is something that was expected. They mixed up some 3 down with some even front. I'm just going to call it odd and even because it may be 3 down, but it always gets to 4. Lee Hunter made a big play. J.J. Pegues got some scratch. But what's one thing that you did not see this whole game from the secondary? A blown coverage. You did not see one. Now, there's some things they need to clean up. There's some leverage issues, but you did not see one totally blown coverage. Chris Thompson Jr. was out of position at safety on the one big touchdown run that Tank had. But again, guys know where to be. Now, is that because a lot of it was base and they weren't doing too much? Maybe a little bit. But there was a lot of motion. You saw the trade motion from the tight ends, which is where both tight ends moved from one side to the other. You saw some jet sweep motions. You saw some orbit motions. You saw some formation into the boundary, which gets you to check base a lot as a defensive guy. So, again, I thought the tackling was really good in open space. Tank's going to break tackles. That's who he is. I thought the DBs did a really good job on the bigger wide receivers of bringing them down. There wasn't a missed tackle. So it was pretty clean. You got through it. And at the end of the day, that's what you wanted to see. And I think it's a good stepping stone for Auburn to go ahead and get spring done. Looking at Brian Harsin right now doing his interview, looks like he's just happy to get through it, like a lot of guys are. A lot of stuff to clean up, a lot of little things to clean up. But I think the chapter is changing a little bit at Auburn, and you saw the philosophy of that there. Any more rounds of questions, or are we wrapped up over there, Blaine? All right, well, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out betonline.ag Make sure you check out ebay.com/sneakers. Grab you a pair. Make sure you hit up sundayscaries.com, the best CBD company that there is. Use that JBoy promo code JBOY, save 25%. And the same thing with monsterbass.com. Use the JBOY10 promo code, save $10 off your first box. All right, first simulcast in the books. I appreciate you guys joining us. Spread the word. Got another great week of content coming out next week, including an 8-day breakdown. Probably going to release that one Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Appreciate y'all. It's been our first simulcast. J-Boy's going. Gone. Awesome.